Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow, I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Yeah, next week we're going to do the show on Periscope in 360. What that means is you'll be able to watch it, but then you can, like, turn your phone around and you'll be able to see behind you. Or something. I don't quite understand it. But basically, I've got a gold Periscope account. I can stream it 360. Fevsy the Gadget Detective has just said... Not Fevsy. Stephen Murdoch, of course, has just said that he's got a 360 camera. And Bishy Bashy Boshy, we are... sorted. Good evening, dear listener. Iain Lee, Talk Radio. Let's not talk about the show that went on before. Because I'm not very happy with, I'm going to say, well, nearly said those gentlemen, but that is a lie. Not happy with them. So let's not even worry about them or talk about them. Instead, let my agent deal with it via the boss. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call. Last night it was women only. Tonight it's losers only. And speaking of which, it's Alan Caddick.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip. Alan.
I must be the biggest loser of all.
You certainly could be, Alan. Why do you think you're such a loser?
Because I only could try and get on the show last night by putting on a fake voice.
Now, it was women callers only, Alan.
Which I didn't know till I called in as normal.
Well, because if you'd have been listening...
Well, I didn't have my radio with me while I was at the pub.
This is the weird thing, right? There are, I can think of 3 callers who don't really listen to the show. There's you, there's Nigel, and there's Holy Ken. Sorry?
Nigel from Maidstone.
Nigel from Maidstone and Holy Ken, right?
Oh, don't get me started on Holy Ken. I'm still not forgiving him for what happened before Christmas.
Wow. And you know, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. But it does strike me as odd, maybe a little bit arrogant, I don't know.
Or paranoid?
No. That people would phone in a radio show that they're not listening to. Do you not think that's weird, Alan?
Well, I'm listening tonight on the website.
Right, OK, well, that's good. That's good. Last night's show was women only. and your name flashed up on my screen about 7 times.
No, twice.
Thrice. And
the first time Kath answered.
Yes.
And she explained it was a women out loud. I thought, okay.
Yeah, she wasn't going to answer, but I suggested that maybe she should.
To give me a heads up.
Give you a heads up. So the second time you phoned up and you tried to sneak under the radar, did you?
By calling myself Alana. But Ed saw through me.
Let's just hear Alana's voice again.
Hi, I'm Alana. My friends call me Honey Boo Boo.
Right, yeah, Ed would be able to see through that.
Yeah, I wonder if they got fake voices in New Zealand.
I think they do have fake voices in New Zealand. I don't know. He's gone off to make tea, but when he comes in and delivers the tea, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to say, Ed, do you have fake voices in New Zealand? And let's see what he says.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We need some topics tonight.
We do, Alan. I'm going to be honest with you.
We haven't got any topics.
Well, you don't listen to the show, do you? When we do topics, no one calls in about the topics. We haven't really done topics for about 6 months.
Well, I'm intrigued about what happened with the previous show, because I want to hear what legal action is going to be employed.
There's not legal action yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but the gentlemen that are on before me, and I don't actually want to give them publicity by mentioning their names, but...
Is that JW and AG?
Yeah. But their manner is very, very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. And the studio etiquette is non-existent. And I'm not going to be bullied in the workplace. Not by a late 80s throwback. So,
any form of bullying is wrong.
Yeah, any form of bullying is wrong, they say in China. They always blame it on Wong. It's not always his fault. Well, he is a bully, though, Mr.
Well, maybe you need to get a voice from the Mother of all talk shows on Friday.
George Galloway wouldn't bully anybody, apart from maybe a small pub. But apart from that, he would not bully anybody.
What about Nigel Farage?
Oh, jeez, that guy's
Galloway versus Farage?
That guy is on the other radio station right now, spreading hate and poison. So tonight we're going to be spreading love. I've got nothing for the show tonight, Alan. And, but I've not really got, I'm not feeling particularly well today.
Oh, no, what happened?
Oh, yeah, hang on, I'll talk about that in a bit, but here's something, Caddick. My mum's gone back into hospital today.
Oh, no!
Yes!
What happened this time?
Chest infection again.
Oh.
She keeps getting a little chest infection, so they gave her antibiotics last week, and it didn't really clear it up, so she's gone into hospital to get the antibiotics on a drip. But she went in today, and I won't be able to pop in and see her until Saturday. So, yeah, poor old thing. You know what it's like, mum's going in and out of hospital. Yeah. It's not fun, is it?
I know. Well, from one person who had his mum in hospital to your mum,
yes,
that actually had a speedy recovery.
Last time she went in hospital, she was really out of it. She was delirious, and she was convinced. She was in hospital, right? Yeah. And she was convinced she was in Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, my God.
I know. And I kept saying, right, Mum, do you know where you are? Yeah, I'm in Marks and Spencer's. I'm just waiting for them to open the clothes department. Can you get me through there so I can go and have a look at the clothes? And I spent the first 10 minutes telling her where she was, and I told her where she was again, and then I told her, and I said, oh, actually, Mum, no, you're right, we are in Marks and Spencer's, and I hope you brought your credit card, because we're going to spend.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's best to go with the fantasy.
Messaged me on Facebook. He sends his love from Blackpool.
Who does?
Robert.
Robert who?
Robert.
Oh, your brother Robert. Oh, the good Caddick.
Yeah.
The good Caddick. Well, good for him. Sorry, I got confused for a second there. We like your brother.
Well, my other brother visited today.
Uh-oh.
The one from London.
Oh, and how did that go?
Well, he visited my dad's factory because he used to work there.
You Caddick boys are spread out literally the length of the country.
Oh, no.
Incredible. Crazy times, Alan.
Yeah, and he bought me a late Christmas present.
What was it?
A mug for the allotment. He bought me a mug and some socks.
From the allotment?
For the allotment.
For the allotment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, Alan, up yours.
Bye.
0344 499 1000. Let's go to Jeff. Evening, Jeff.
Hello.
Hello, Jeff. What have you got for us?
Okay. Are we still doing that thing where you add things to the list?
What list?
the list of the best things?
Oh, yeah. We can continue doing the best. I want to play best things tennis with you later on, Kath. Yeah. We're doing things that are brilliant. What have you got that's brilliant?
Okay, so it's when you go into a department store.
Yeah.
And they've got those massaging chairs.
Yeah.
And you sit on one.
They're brilliant, aren't they?
And it's like the best thing ever.
They are brilliant. You've got to get in the right kind of position, though, for it to have an effect.
Oh, they kind of hurt.
Yeah, well, sometimes that pain, though, is a good thing.
Suppose so.
Have you ever had, Jeff, a real massage from a professional masseuse?
No.
Oh, mate. That is brilliant. It's a bit weird because, you know, you're taking your clothes, you're in your pants with a stranger. So it's a bit weird. But if you get someone who knows what they're doing, it feels absolutely incredible.
It's very expensive, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is expensive, and I don't do it very often. I do it as a every now and then. I'll have it as a treat to myself if I've been good. It is expensive, and it's what's weird about it, Jeff, is if you're getting a full body massage, you have to completely let go of your body. Now that sounds easy, right? That sounds easy, but when someone's like manipulating your leg or pulling your arm, your natural involuntary reaction is to kind of stiffen it or to take control of it. And so they'll be spinning your arm around and they'll go, just let go, just let go, just let go. And the more someone says just let go, the more you kind of control your arm. And it's a very weird thing, giving over, you know, your limbs to a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's good, though. It's good. It's better than the chair. You think the chair is brilliant. You wait till you get a proper massage.
I'll see what I can do about that.
Nice one, Jeff. Are you back at school yet?
Yeah, I'm going back tomorrow.
Okay. Well, hang on a minute. You going back for the last 2 days of the week?
Yep.
Flippin'
stupid.
It is actually, it's not a word I like to use, but I'm going to use it now. That is actually stupid. What are you going to learn in 2 days? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Well, Jeff, you have my permission to sit in class for the next 2 days and just doss around. On Monday, you've got to work. But Thursday and Friday, you have my permission to doss around.
Thank you very much.
Nice one, Jeff. Nice to talk to you, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. I think it's going to be one of them shows. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Anyone can call in this evening. James!
Hello, good evening. Great to talk to you. Hey, is tonight the Men Only show?
No. Wow. Every night is pretty much Men Only show.
Okay, except for last night.
Tonight it's Black and Asians only this evening.
Okay, well, that's me out there.
No, I'm joking. No. I knew someone would come up with the snappy line of when are you going to do a Men Only show? Well, every show, we have quite a few shows where it's Men Only, so I don't think we need to decree it.
And it was interesting, I think.
It was interesting. Some really good calls. Some excellent calls. Some moving calls. Some tears, some laughter, and a little bit of in between.
And also, it was very interesting where the women were talking about why you happen to have one of the highest rating shows for women listeners.
Yes.
I mean, they did put their finger on a few different reasons why. I think possibly you empathise with women, you talk about emotions and feelings and thoughts and that sort of thing. Possibly also maybe it's because you're drop dead gorgeous.
Do you know what? And I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to make light of it last night, but there is a strong chance that my natural hotness is possibly the reason why so many ladies love listening to the Lee.
Your youth appeal.
Yeah,
yes.
There we go.
Well, compared to those other two people, the unmentionables that were previously on before, I mean, don't worry about them. I mean, don't forget, one's a has-been, the other one's just a rock music burnout, so, I mean, you haven't got to worry about that.
Oh, it's just, I mean, it is like walking into the 80s. I'm refusing, and I'm going to say this on air, because I don't want to give them publicity, but I'm refusing to do any more handovers with the act that is on before this show. I'm refusing to do it. Why would I want to demean myself by entering their zoo?
Well, why should you? I mean, I'm on principle. I mean, I think they're just trying to antagonise you, really.
Yeah. They're definitely trying to wind me up. So no, I'm not playing their game. I'm not having it. Not happening. My show starts at 10 o'clock. Bishy bashy boshy. That'll do.
Good. It's a complete separate entity from theirs.
Yes.
Actually, I got the impression listening to you on and off over the time and last year that you're quite keen on how talk radio can make itself more popular.
Yes, there's the station itself. Yes, we're always looking for more and more people to discover the home of free speech
and lively speech, where entertaining speech compared to the other one down the road that you haven't mentioned enough. It is more irreverence and fun.
That was when we all had the meetings with the bosses about the shows and the station and stuff. They said, look, we don't want it to we want it to have bits of newsy and stuff, but we also want it to be a bit show busy and a lot more chatty. The other place right now has got blooming Nigel Farage. I nearly saw there. Nigel Farage on. Talking Brexit, talking Trump, talking hate. Why would you want to listen to that? If you got school tomorrow or work tomorrow, why would you want to listen to a racist old buffoon stirring the pot?
He must be standing in, because normally there's a regular guy who does late nights.
No, he's standing in for the week. Tonight we're going to have a laugh. Nothing too heavy. I'm not feeling particularly well. We'll talk about what's in the papers. We'll have a chat. People can call in with anything they want. We'll see where it goes.
Well, to be honest, the other people don't do a free for all very often.
No.
It's all very formula.
Well, here's the thing. Can I blow my own trumpet?
Go ahead.
And I don't blow it very often, primarily because I don't have one. But
good party trick.
Oh, you just reminded me. I voiced an episode of. I voiced this series for Channel 5 called "Things Make You Laugh Out Loud," and it was weddings today, and there were two bits that made me laugh out loud. One of them is there was a montage of people, grooms picking up their brides and dropping them, and the comedian Dave Spikey delivered the brilliant line. He says, "We have a saying up north: don't marry what you can't carry." And I thought it was so delicious. But there was also a couple, a bride walking up the aisle and being serenaded by a trumpet, and it's the worst trumpet playing you've ever heard in your life. But here's the thing, right? People think that the naysayers think that doing a show, a free-form, freestyle show where you come in with very little, and I've got very little this evening. They think that's easy, and that's lazy, and that's a kid's show, and that's it. But it is so much harder to do that than it is to come in and say, right, for the first hour, we're going to talk about this pompous idiot that's resigned over Brexit. And then for the second hour, we're going to talk about Trump's inauguration. That's easy.
Yeah.
That is easy.
To work to,
coming in and opening the switchboards with very, very little is hard work. I tell you what I compare it to. It's like Les Dawson playing the piano badly. The only reason he can play the piano so badly is because he's brilliant at playing the piano, right?
Yeah. I'm
brilliant at doing phone, and I'm going to own this because I don't normally. I'm brilliant at doing a phone-in radio show, right? But the show I'm doing now is like Les Dawson playing the piano off key.
You're a stand-up comedian. I presume you're good at thinking of jokes or thinking when you do. Yeah, sorry, you're not stand-up.
No.
Oh.
I did stand-up years and years ago, and I've not classed myself as a stand-up comedian for 15 years. I've not classed myself as a comedian for about 8 years. But I've done it, but I was never very good at it.
We used to be good at thinking on your feet then to do a free-form radio show.
Yeah?
Definitely. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be sat there for 3 hours, 5 times.
And sometimes it doesn't work. It might not work tonight. That's the beauty of it. Is we've had two absolutely corking, completely different shows, and tonight may not work.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun of it. That's part of the excitement.
Yeah, that's it. You never hear or see people failing anymore. If it's a film or a TV show, then it's been through committees and boards. Very rarely do you see a TV show fail. And same with radio shows. No one is doing anything different.
I agree with you completely. And this is something I've thought about television and radio, and more so with television. You compare it to the past, the 90s and the 80s. Television got very safe, very predictable, very staid. And one of the things that television executives, all the stations, are unhappy about and decry the fact that many young people don't watch television. I've got friends of mine in their 30s, they don't bother having a TV license because they don't watch TV.
Yeah.
It's YouTube, it's videos, because the entertaining, fun stuff is on YouTube, is on the internet. You know, where are the programs like The Word? You know, the Saturday morning kids programs. There's nothing on Saturday morning for the kids. As far as I'm aware, it used to be entertaining. Tiz was, Get Ready, or the other ones. You remember the programs? They were great fun.
Yeah.
Adults used to watch them because they were entertaining.
Look at this! Look at this! Hang on a minute, have you seen who's tweeted me? It's the communications guy for Nigel Farage! Dan Jukes! Communications for Nigel Farage. What does that even mean, communications for Nigel Farage?
It means he's listening to your show.
Here we go. Ian Lee is getting upset that more people would rather listen to Nigel Farage than him, even though the former does radio for a living. I've replied, what are you on about, you pudding? Of course I'm not upset. He's on LBC. They've got about 5 times the amount of listeners that I've got.
Since 1973.
Dan Jukes, I'm upset that you're such an idiot that you're sending me messages on Twitter when you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. And guess what, Dan? Your communications for Farage, you'll plug in my show, you prune. So it's brilliant.
I love it. Hey, that's great.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the support. Is always appreciated.
That's marvellous. Gosh, I mean...
James, listen, thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Ian Lee is getting upset that more people would rather listen to Nigel Farage than him, even though the former does radio for a living. What are you talking about? Of course he's going to get more listeners than me. You prat. You're supposed to be plugging his show, not plugging mine, Dan Jukes, 17. Absolute bell. Oh, dear God. Dan, listen, you want to go and work with the... why, Dan, why are you listening to this, man? You want to go and work with the hate monster, then that's groovy. And these are the idiots we're dealing with. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Did you listen to what James Whale and Ash was saying about you tonight? Very vicious, I would say, but there is an old saying, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. In your case, it's out of the furnace. Dave, you keep emailing me. I've got no idea what you're talking about. Of course I didn't hear what James and Ash said. Why would I listen to that rubbish? I was too busy meditating. I meditate for 25 minutes before the show, so I was meditating. What? Why would I listen to that rubbish? You're insane. Everybody's insane. Richard's in Camberwell. Good evening, Richard.
Hello. Again, I've got to be the only person who announced the location before I come on.
Yep. Well, this is it's important information, Richard, and we keep asking everyone else, and they will not tell us.
It's only because George Galloway once asked and must have written it down somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's logged into the system.
And GCHQ have direct access to that now.
This is the thing now, because the Snoopers Charter has gone through. So GCHQ, not even GCHQ, like everybody, the bin men can now have access to your online data files.
I know, my bin man came up to me the other day and he was like, what was this grot you were watching last week and why? And I was just like, well, how did you even know? And then he just said Theresa May just directly gave it to me.
Yeah, they can do it. Everybody now is allowed to look at your online... I've got nothing to hide. I have got... Come and look at the absolute filth that I watch online. I'm not ashamed of it.
Well, I've started pinning it to a lamppost now, just a list of everything that I watch. Every week I just put the numerous lamppost, like, this is what Richard watched this week.
Yeah, this is what I typed in to Pornhub, and this is what came up.
Yep.
Anyway, Richard, what have you got for us this evening?
Well, I was actually thinking about last night's show, which I really enjoyed, and it was a weird topic, because I have noticed there have been sort of like fewer female callers recently.
Yeah.
But then some of my favourite callers of all time have been female, like show shows like Katia, who I used to have a massive crush on her voice when I was like 14.
What?
When she was filming the LBC.
Really? Isn't that funny?
But there's the rule: fit on the phone, not 10 stone.
Because I find, because I find her quite annoying. Fit on the phone, adds 10 stone. I've not heard that for a long time. That's a flashback.
But Barnesworth is always quite amusing. And then Vinny as well.
Yeah, Vinny. She calls him from time to time.
Yeah, Vinny hasn't gone in quite well. I was ashamed she didn't take the opportunity to train last night.
She was very, very welcome. All the women were very welcome to call him. But it was good, wasn't it? It was interesting. It was nice to get some new voices and some incredible stories. I mean, the number of people that have messaged me about Susie's call last night, talking about Sam, her husband. Oh, yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it all day.
Yeah, that was a bit heavy.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
But yeah, sorry, I wanted to suggest maybe another idea for one of these shows, because
disabled people only. Wheelchair users, paraplegics only.
Well, there's a slight northern twinge to your programming. I know it's in the callers.
Oh, it's you. You have upset my producer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I have to have a Christmas one. I'll phone you back.
Yeah, now we know who you are, because you were saying yesterday we should do a southern only.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's just an experiment, just because, no one north of the Watford Gap is allowed to phone in.
Why? Would Catherine, who is from up north... I've got a really funny thing to play in a bit. We'll play Korean Billy in a bit. Have you heard of Korean Billy, Richard?
I haven't, no.
Oh, mate, he's funny. He's this Korean kid that does videos on English dialect. We're going to try and get him on the show for tomorrow, hopefully.
No, sorry, I've seen him doing the Welsh accent one, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we'll play the Manchester one and the Liverpool one later on, because they are so funny. But they're not meant to be funny. They're genuine. They're straight up. But would Kath be allowed on the show?
Well, she's a bit of an Uncle Tom, isn't she?
She's standing up. I'm not quite sure. She's angry. She's punching the wall. That's.
I've got tickets to your thing in February, and I'm not sure that I'm allowed to come anymore.
Well, you can come. Just don't identify yourself.
Yeah.
Although we will. I never forget when I was at primary school once. Right, we had these. I remember I was in Miss Tyrrell's class. I had a massive crush on Miss Tyrrell. I was 8 years old, and we had these painters in. And I remember them vividly because one of them looked like Francis Rossi from Status Quo, and they were spray painting. They were painting the wall outside the classroom, I remember it brown. And and we were told, do not touch the walls. And of course, after a break, I came back and I put my hand against the wall to see if it was still wet. And it was still wet, and I left a handprint. And then we went and sat in the class. And the painter spoke to Miss Tyrrell. And Miss Tyrrell came in and said, right, there is a handprint on the wall outside. One of you has put your hand up against the wall. I want to know who it was. Silence. No one said a word. She said, I'm going to give you one more chance. I want the person who put their hand on the wall to tell me who it was now. Silence. She said, right. I am going to come round the class and inspect your hands one at a time. Oh, my God. And I was like the third kid from last in the class. And as she came to me and I went, it was me, miss, I'm sorry. And basically, and I had to go and apologise to Status Quo. So basically, Richard, what I'm saying is we are going to go round one at a time at that evening and get people to speak until we identify your voice, okay?
Okay, well, I'm going to pretend to be non-vocal.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. 0344 499 1000, Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain.
Late Night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
I'm trolling. I'm now trolling Nigel Farage's I don't even know what his job is. Let me just... Dan Jukes. He looks about 9. Communications for Nigel Farage. What does that even mean, communications? What is that like? What does that mean? Because he's certainly no good at Twitter. He's not worked that out, you pudding. Anyway, I'm trolling him. Oh, you're so young, Dan, and you're hanging out with that muppet. It's going to end in tears, Dan. It's going to end in big racist tears. That's what it's going to end in. And we all know what Farage likes to do. Don't we, Janey Godley?
Yay!
Me and Kath have just kept. We keep throwing you a line back and forth about his mum wiping his pee-pee with a hanky.
Yeah, it's a really good visual image, isn't it? Because it kind of personifies a big man baby. You know, those racists that give it out but can't take it back. And we were discussing this tonight because my daughter Ashley and I, we have a podcast every week. It's been going for 5 years. And we were talking tonight about how people who are quite, racist and angry, but they don't like you answering them back. You're not allowed to say anything back.
No, of course not.
It's their freedom of speech, but it's not yours.
Yeah.
And we're doing on the January the 20th, which is my birthday, which I keep mentioning.
Yes. Do you want us to send you a present or something? Is that why you keep saying it's your birthday?
No, it's my birthday because it's the day Trump gets inaugurated, and it makes me feel sick because I was born the day on the same hour that JFK was inaugurated. January the 20th is the big inauguration day. Wow. So we are having a protest against Trump at the Donald Dewar statue in Glasgow. And the amount of people that came on, and it's mostly angry men going, why are you bothering to do this? I mean, like, what's to do with you what I do? See me going to protest against Trump, is it taking time out of your day? And they're like, you can't speak to me like that. I'm like, hang on, Bunty, you started this fight. And it's like, I don't see why me doing something upsets people who aren't doing it.
Well, there are a lot. You're right. There is a trend at the moment that the far right and the right are allowed to say whatever they want. It's free speech, and now that we've got we're post political correctness, get rid of that PC nonsense, right?
Yes.
But as soon as you question it or go, well, hang on, why are you saying that, or what does that mean, or where did you get your figures from? Oh, shut up, you lefty! Look, we voted out, you libtard. Go on, that's it. Stop it. They do all that. They don't like it up 'em.
I get it all the time. People come on Twitter and say, you're fat and ugly. And I'm like, you look like you swam up the Sellafield. What part of Chernobyl are you from? And they're like, you can't say that to me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You opened this door, bum. I'm going for it, you big bloated manatee. And I don't understand how anybody can complain about anybody's looks. Because, see, to be honest, Ian, the majority of people in Britain, other than maybe like 10 folk, we're all ordinary-looking people.
Yeah.
None of us are the right shape or the right size or the right look. We are all ordinary-looking people. And see when men, and it's especially men, that come and say to me, you're fat and ugly. I'm like, mate, I'm getting some. You look like you sit in your basement and touch your pee-pee to mermaids. I don't understand why you're worried about how I look. I don't understand how that affects them.
It's a really easy, lazy attack to throw out, and there's no intelligence to it.
But if you look like you were in a caravan fire, you can't talk about how other people look. Unless you're Brad Pitt or Jake Gyllenhaal or Mr. Handsome UK says, Janey, do you know what? You're not up to my standard. I'll go, okay, handsome, I'm getting where you're coming from. But if you look like somebody's punched your face with a hammer and you drink vinegar and you have no hair and your angry dog is barking at your static caravan, don't be telling me how I look.
Yeah. There's a person I don't really mention very often by name because I don't like giving them publicity, but I will this once. Katie Hopkins. She tweeted the other day, I get called a racist so much that it's lost all meaning. And that's the big thing now. People say racist too much, it's lost all meaning. Well, yeah, we say it to racists. We call racists racist. So the fact that the word racist has lost meaning for you shows how much of a massive racist you are.
I think she's the kind of woman that would go to a funeral for a baby and laugh out loud and hoping that the people who are there grieving for the baby will give her attention. That's what she puts me in mind of. Yeah. That person that would stand in the street and whip off her pants and go, I've just touched my ninky new with a battery. And people going, what's wrong with that woman? Is there something wrong with her? And that's the problem, is she shouts and shouts and shouts and shouts just to get attention. And people say you shouldn't give them attention. No, we should always be on them. Yeah. We should always be on them. And see this thing, why are you doing that? My answer is, why are you taking the time to tell me I'm wasting my time? You've wasted your time telling me I'm wasting my time.
Hang on, who's wasted? So they've wasted more time than you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, I was following the waste of time.
It's quite a wormhole of wasted time, wasn't it?
Very complicated.
It's an Eagles song as well.
Is it?
Yeah. Wasted Time. It's a great Eagles song.
I don't know that one. I went and saw the Eagles once with someone who wasn't really a friend of mine. It was very weird. They just said at work, "Oh, do you want to go and see the Eagles?" And before I'd thought about it, I went, "Yeah." And he had the tickets, and he said, I'll get there late, so we might miss the first couple of songs, right? And my favourite song is Take It Easy. And he was late, and we got there, and the Eagles were playing, and then just as we sat down, Joe Walsh said, well, that's the first half over, we'll be back in 20 minutes. We missed the entire first half, including Take It Easy. And I still had to pay him £79 for a ticket.
I love the Eagles. You know, we have a thing about Hotel California that's haunted us forever. The very first time I walked into the bar that I eventually owned in Glasgow, Hotel California was playing. Randomly. And the day we left, the jukebox was on, and it came on randomly.
That is
and every time Ashley and I do something, and Hotel California comes on, and we were in LA working not last year, year before, and we were going down to Venice Beach to do our first ever gig in LA. And she was nervous because she's a newer comic than me. And the guy said, can I put the radio on? Went, yeah. And as soon as Hotel California came on, the two looked at each other, high-fived, and went, God, a good night.
And then you owned America then, did you?
We did. Yes. We owned America. Ashley went on stage and pretended to be American. She's so good at accents.
Oh, really?
And then when she broke into Scottish, people outside are going, oh, my God, you're good. That's a good Scottish accent.
Oh, isn't that delicious?
She's like, no, mate, I'm Scottish.
Isn't that delicious?
She's got such good accents. I can't do them. I can only do American, and it's this. Hi, I'm American.
Yeah.
And Northern, which is this. Oh, I like your bread. I'm rubbish. That's just
have you heard this Korean Billy?
No, who's that?
I'm going to play it in a bit. He's this lad. He's popped up in my timeline twice today, which makes me think he's becoming a thing. He's this Korean lad, and he's very young, and he's very keen, and he makes these videos of him. I guess they're for a Korean audience, but he does them in English, of him talking about different dialects in England and explaining some of the language. Like in Liverpool they say la a lot, and in Manchester they say minging a lot, and he explains what these things mean. And he's brilliant. It's brilliant, and some of them have got,
I love that,
like 300,000 views.
Good on him. I love new talent. I love people who can use language and words and storytelling as a talent. That is fantastic. And by the way, big up to you about all the great people have been saying lovely things about the show last night, and you did handle the situation between Susie and her husband last night. Wow. That was a really lovely thing that you did, and it shows how good you are as a broadcaster, that you made that absolutely beautiful to listen to. And it was a shame because I could see it was coming up to the news. I thought, oh no,
I felt terrible.
He's going to have to shut her up. But, you know, you did it with grace, and that's what makes
I've not been able to stop thinking about her all day. That call has been rattling around in my brain. I thought it was incredible. Janey, your podcast, let's get a plug in for your podcast. Where is it, and how can people get it?
It's just called Janey Godley's Podcast. Google it. It's been going for 5 years, and we did one tonight, and it was really funny tonight. It's Ashley Stories, my daughter. Do you know her video got 17 million hits on Facebook, where she does that, if Harry Potter was Scottish, she does Tanya Potter, and she became famous for this one viral video, and it makes her so annoyed because she's done so much more work.
Isn't it funny? You know, I mean, someone was
18 million now.
Incredible. It's incredible that you can do something, and it may not necessarily be the best thing you've ever done, in your opinion, but if it catches the wind, it goes all around the world.
And we did it just improvised in my hall. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't edited, and it got 18 million hits. When she goes on stage and says to people, you know that video, Tanya Potter? And people go, yeah. She'll go, that's me. They'll go, no, it's not. She's like, yes, it is.
Then why are you in a room in front of 50 people? You must be rich by now.
We are doing good work this weekend. I'm gigging all weekend, but I love your show.
Oh, I love you, Janey. Thank you.
As I say, I'm coming down to London on the 22nd, 23rd, or 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Come in.
I'll be able to catch up.
You and Ashley come in.
Have a good old natter and come in.
Nice one.
Iain, keep doing it. Keep holding the Batman. Keep swinging it, because you know what? If we shut up, they win.
I love you, Janey. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. It's so funny. Exciting she's coming in. Terrifying, but exciting. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Alright, la. Gotta go and see Arcade in the Aussie. The brechi was boss, la. I'm going to ask that for some scran, la. I need new club, la. Hello, this is Billy. Today, I'm going to talk about Liverpool dialect words. As Scouse is a regional dialect, there are many other Scouse words which are different from standard English words. Then let's take a look at some Scouse words. The first one is la. La is an abbreviation of lad, and Scousers usually say la instead of mate. Also in Scouse, la is often put at the end of a sentence. The next one is brachi. I think you can guess what it means as it looks similar to the original word. Brachi means breakfast, and brachi can also be spelled with B-R-E-K-K-Y. The next one is boss. You know this word, right? Boss originally means someone who is in charge of an organization, but in Scouse, boss means awesome. Then let's take a look at an example sentence. That breakfast was awesome, mate. That brachi was boss la. That breakfast was awesome, mate. That brachi was boss la. The next word is clobber. Can you guess what it means? Clobber means clothes. These two words look a bit similar, right? So Scousers usually say clobber instead of clothes. For example, I need new clothes. I need new clobber la. I need new clothes. I need new clobber la. The next one is arkid. This word seems to mean child, but arkid means brother or sister. So, when someone says arkid, you can understand that this person is talking about a brother or a sister. The next one is this one. Can you guess what it means? Aussie means hospital, and in the Aussie means in the hospital. For example, I have to go and see my brother in the hospital. Gotta go and see our kid in the Aussie. I have to go and see my brother in the hospital. Gotta go and see our kid in the Aussie. The next one is scran. Scran means food. Scousers usually say scran instead of food, so when they say they are having some scran, that means they are having some food. Lastly, Scousers say the Aster instead of Aster. And in Scouse, the sometimes becomes de. So people in Liverpool sometimes say de Aster instead of just Aster.
Asda?
For your information, Asda is a popular supermarket chain in Britain. Then let's take a look at an example. I'm going to Asda for some food. I'm going to Asda for some scran. I'm going to Asda for some food. I'm going to Asda for some scran. Now we know some Scouse words, right? I know my Liverpudlian accent is not perfect, but I hope this one helps you to understand some Scouse. And that's it from me. I'll see you next time. Bye!
I mean, that video's had 111,000 views. 111. We'll play the Manchester one later on, and Catherine, who is from that way, can let us know exactly how it compares. Korean Billy. I don't know anything about him. He's just popped up in my timeline a couple of times. Some of you are saying he was on BBC Three. But he's legit, right? That's a genuine... That's not a spoof. I don't think it's a spoof. We've watched quite a few of them, and he seems... it has Korean subtitles. It seems real, but I don't know. Who knows what's real these days or not? I haven't got a clue. But we're going to try and get him on the show. I think we'll get him on. That's good, that. I like that. I like someone making something and creating something. Is he what you would call a YouTube... what do they call them? A YouTube sensation? Is that the phrase? Like Zuella. Zuella's the only one I know from YouTube. I find it amazing. He's not making it up, Catherine. He's not making it up. They say the Asda. It's funny that you can, spend all your life working in comedy clubs or putting on shows and whatever, and you could play to an audience of maybe a few thousand throughout your entire life. You get one YouTube video that takes off. Oi, bishy bashy boshy. You get millions. Crazy, crazy days. Good evening, dear listener. This is Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. 0344 499 1000. Lots of new listeners because of the hate fest that's happening on the other station. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me explain a few things. The only rules are, you can call in about anything, right? Absolutely anything you want. And it can be serious, it can be from the newspapers, it can be, you want to tell me something your kid did today at school that was stupid, you can tell me about the best Christmas present. It can be literally anything you want. You just want to phone up for a chat. 0344 499 1000. We call you back. The only rules are, you can't talk about Trump and you can't talk about Brexit unless you have something completely new and completely unique to say on the subject, which I can almost guarantee that you won't, because nobody does. And yet, those stations and shows are still continuing to do phone-ins about both those things, and there's nothing to say. There's absolutely nothing to say. And I think speech-based radio is going to be a pretty bleak place for the next few years, unless someone grows some balls and kicks it up the backside. So you can't call in about those things. You can, however, call in about absolutely anything you want. I started telling a story, SN, and it's always hard to tell a story when Catherine's in the studio, because she kind of just jumps in and you don't get to finish it. The phone is ringing. Probably want to answer that. I'm very evil. Ed, could you give her a push, please? Thank you. But I was telling a story about how I nearly punched a dog in the face yesterday. Well, it happened over Christmas, but I was telling the story yesterday. This big Labrador came and got a bit rough with my dog, and I was going to punch it. I had the fist ready, and I was going to punch it in the nose. Not something I would do lightly. I am against animal abuse, but I was going to give it a smack. And then the owner came over, and I got angry with the owner, and I said, "That dog should be on a lead." He went, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate." I said, "Yeah, that should be on a lead." No, actually, I said, "That dog should be on a lead, dude." And he said, "Sorry, dude." And they didn't say it sarcastically. He said it genuinely. He was kowtowing. And I said, "Well, you should be on a lead." And I was furious. And I kept and he put it on the lead. And as we walked away in different directions, I kept looking over my shoulder at him, giving him the evils. And I was furious. I was furious, and I was a bit shaken up. And so I went for a slightly longer walk because I didn't want to bump into him again. And so I got home about half an hour later, and I was sat at home. And then I saw the guy walking down the path to come to the front door. I'm thinking, he's followed me. He's followed me home. That's weird. This is going to get nasty, because he's a big fella. And he knocked on the door. And my wife went to answer, because I was scared, if I'm honest. I've been thinking about how I was going to punch his dog. And fair play to him, he'd come to apologise. And so I overheard the conversation. So I just want to say I'm really sorry, and the dog got a bit out of control, but she's lovely and she would never, and I'm sorry, and I should have had it on the lead. And my wife didn't know what had gone on, so she was playing it down. "Oh, it's fine. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing." And I started getting angrier again, thinking, "Well, hang on a minute. It was quite traumatic." So I then went to the door, and he said something. I went, "Oh, it's all right. Don't worry about it." And then I kind of stormed off. "Robert, I'll come to you after the break. 0344 499 1000. And then I heard him say something, and then I saw him walk away. And he went into the house directly opposite us. It was the bloke who lives opposite us. A bloke that I get on with really, really well. I've spoken to him loads. When I got the boot from the other place, he came over to congratulate me for standing up for my rights. He said I should be proud of it. I said I'd rather have a job. So the point I'm trying to make is, I have a severe disability in that I've seen this bloke loads of times. I cannot recognise people's faces. Genuinely, I do. And this is a proper thing. The research has been done into this, and I would happily be a guinea pig for this. I do not have the power to recognise people's faces. It's like it's like a dyslexia. I call it a facial dyslexia. And I'm not making light of dyslexia. I'm not being flippant. I'm not pulling your plonker. It's a genuine thing that I can't recognise people's faces. The number of times I've said to people, I've been introduced to someone, and I've said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." And they say, "Oh, we worked together about 8 months ago." Sorry? "Yeah, we worked together for 3 months on a job. Do you not no." So what I do now when I meet people is, I'm giving away tricks of the trade here. I don't say it was nice to meet you. Say, "Oh, it's good to see you." And then I'll often say, We've worked together, haven't we? Because then you're covered. Because then if you haven't, they go, no. You go, oh, you look familiar. And then if you have worked together, they go, yeah, we did that job a couple of years. Oh, yes. I've forgotten your name. Tony. Yeah, Tony. I remember. Little get-out clause there to, I'm masking my disability, which is something we shouldn't do. We should all stand proud. 0344 499 1000. Robert, I'll come to you after the break. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yesterday was kinda like the 4th of July. The way your face lit up the entire sky. Had to look away because it hurt my eyes. The way you hit me was a big surprise. Yesterday I really didn't know what to say. I wasn't making any sense, but I felt okay. Ask you if it was my birthday. This kind of thing don't happen every day. Hey. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. Hey. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. Yesterday I felt just like a child, a little curious, a little wild, live in the moment and you'll never go out of style. You know it's really been a while. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. Let me tell you, yeah. Excuse me, won't you step aside? I don't got no room for you in my life. I don't got the patience to love again. I don't got the guts to keep you as a friend. Be an angel to fly away. I hope you reach some heavenly place. If you come back when you're older, and bring me some raindrops from the Today I feel like I'm doing time. I didn't think it would be such a shameful crime. It's been a while since I let you go. Time don't let regrets go. Hey. I didn't think an angel would get in my way. No. So I gotta welcome angels, welcome angels, welcome angels, welcome angels, angels, baby. Help little Lily up the stairs. Let a fat lady sit in your seat on the subway. Give a mama a meal. Mama a cigarette. Give it back.
You can't go wrong with a little bit of Imani Coppola, or a lot of Imani Coppola. She is, without a doubt, one of the best singers, songwriters, but she produces it all herself. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Why is she not one of the hugest stars in the world? I don't know. 0344 499 1000. It's Robert Caddick.
Good evening, Ian. How are you, pal? Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy New Year to you, Rob. How was Christmas? Was it all right?
Oh, I don't know if Alan's already told you. It was absolutely sound. I cooked dinner like I said I was going to. It was all right, tell the truth. Looked after my mum as well, so yeah.
And did dinner went down well? Everything was all right with it?
Everybody ate theirs apart from me, and I cooked it.
Oh, why is that? Did you feel ill, or were you just not hungry?
No, No, I've had a gastric bypass.
Hey, Robert! Could you not put it in a blender?
No, I can eat. I had my gastric bypass 8 years ago. I lost 19 stone in 6 months.
Flipping heck. Jeez.
Yeah, I used to be quite a big fella too.
Well, yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, 34 stone it used to be. I'm heaviest.
I could eat a roast dinner, a Christmas dinner, right now. If Ed were to walk in with a Christmas dinner with all the trimmings, I could quite happily, quite easily tuck into that bad boy and blow off the rest of the show, literally and metaphorically.
It was just the veg I could eat. I thought I could eat the majority of the veg, but I couldn't eat the beef, pork or turkey. I just left it to
Let's do it. What we're going to do, Robert, is I'm going to... Right.
Go on.
The top... I'm going to write mine down. You think your answers, okay? I want, in reverse order, the top 3 veg on a Christmas dinner. So don't tell me. I'm going to do right. So at number 3, I'm going to put... number 2... And number 1. Okay. Robert, your Christmas dinner top 3 vegetables. Give me number 3, your third favourite Christmas dinner vegetable.
Roast parsnip.
Oh! Controversial. Okay, I've got sprouts.
Okay.
Because I like my sprouts, but... okay, what's number 2 on your list?
Roast onion.
Sorry?
Roast onion.
What, you Frenchman or something? Roast onion?
Don't you have to roast onion with turkey? I love roast onion with turkey.
Roast onion for a Christmas dinner? Are you insane?
No.
We voted out of Europe. Get over it.
I've had roast onions since I was a kid, blaming mother.
Really?
Everybody else. At the place where I work, we do roast onions as well.
What we're going to do... okay, let's stop the clock. Stop the clock. Let's put that out to the listeners. Is Robert a lunatic, or am I missing out on one of God's gifts? The roast onion, 0344 499 1000.
You don't even stick an onion in your stuff when you do the stuffing in the turkey as well, to keep the stuffing in.
Yeah. Well, you shove an onion up there?
Yeah, you stick an onion up there, but also you put roast onions with your roast parsnips and your roast potatoes as well.
I don't know about this, Robert. I think you're insane. Number 2, for me, roast parsnips.
Right, okay.
And your number 1 Christmas dinner vegetable is...
My favourite, sprouts. Absolutely.
Number 1!
I love sprouts, seriously.
Oh, your family are crazier than I thought. I like sprouts a lot, right? I've never got this... I've never understood the jokes about sprouts being rotten. I love them. Mm-hmm. But number 1 has got to be, Robert, and this is where you and I will fall out. It's got to be your potatoes.
Well, yeah, but they're all the time, aren't they? But sprouts, you can't beat sprouts. Every dinner I have, except obviously if it's not got vegetables, is sprouts. I love sprouts.
Really?
Seriously, if they never grew sprouts anymore, I'd probably slip my wrist, seriously.
Wow, that is a lot of sprout love. I'm a big sprout fan. But for me, roast potatoes for me, I could live on roast potatoes with mint sauce. Even when I didn't eat lamb, I'd cover my roast potatoes in mint sauce. Because it's like vinegar, basically. It's like a minty vinegar. Yeah, and it was, you get them all crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. You parboil them for about 20 minutes, put them in, you give them a shake around in the colander so that they all get a little bit fluffy around the edges, put them in, baste them every 20 minutes. Beautiful!
Yeah, and like you, I love mint sauce as well. But yeah, every Sunday dinner as well, I have mint sauce. No matter if it's chicken, pork, beef, lamb, anything.
Well, I was a vegetarian for 26 years, and me and my sister still insisted on mint sauce, and we fight over it. As kids, we would fight over the mint sauce because we'd get a little silver dish with mint sauce in, right? Mm-hmm. And we'd go. Whoever went first would be polite and only have a little bit, and then the other person would just tip it all over their plate. You go, Mum, she's got all the mint sauce. The big fight's about the mint sauce.
Well, my mum and dad used to grow mint in the back garden, and they used to teach me my mum taught me how to make mint sauce anyway, so...
Yeah.
Quite easy to make, anyway.
It is easy to make, and I a bit of fresh mint sauce, yeah, that's fine. But I must admit, I do like the stuff you get in a jar.
You can't beat the fresh stuff, though.
No, I think you can. Because the stuff you get in a jar, there's something so synthetic about it. Listen to us, whittering on like a couple of old ladies over the garden fence. What have you called in for, Robert?
Well, basically, I was agreeing with what you said about people and recognition of people.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I've got a problem. I can see somebody, and I thought, where do I know that person from?
Right.
And they have to remind me, like yourself.
Yeah.
Because I forget completely. I'm 45 years old, 46 for my next birthday. and it's only been happening the last 10 years or so. If I see somebody, I recognise the face, but sometimes I can't think of the name, and I can't think where I know them from, just like yourself. So I think it's...
Well, yours. I'm one worse than you because I don't even recognise the face. It will be like I've never seen the face before. There was a girl called Emily who I was obsessed with at college. I was head over heels in love with her, and she wasn't interested in me at all. And she kind of led me a merry dance, and it was wonderful, delicious dance to be led. She wasn't really interested in me, but I was obsessed with her, and I always thought I'll never forget Emily and what she looks like. And then about 8 years ago, I was doing a show or something, and this girl came up to me, and she went, "All right, Ian." And sometimes people come up to me because they recognise me from the telly or something. And I went, "All right, nice to see you." She went, and she started talking, and we were talking, and she said, "You don't recognise me, do you?" I went, "No." She went, "It's Emily." And I didn't. And this girl I'd been obsessed with, 20 years ago, and I didn't recognise her at all. And I was going, and instantly, even though I made the connection, I still couldn't connect the face with her. Could have been anybody. Anyway, but yeah, it's a recognised mental condition, Robert. We are severely disabled.
Well, they say that, but also as you get older, we seem to remember things. When we're kids as well, I've noticed that I remember a lot of things when I was a kid that I haven't remembered before. I don't know if that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
And things that happened, say, last week, I forget about, but say something happened to me when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I can remember it like it was clearly yesterday.
Can you really?
Mm-hmm. There's an instant I remember the other day. I was thinking about my nan died 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was remembering an instant on the bus where, in Birmingham, she gave me these bus tickets to look after.
Yeah.
And the inspector came on, but I ripped them up and threw them on the floor.
Uh-oh.
And I remembered it for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, just weird.
I can't remember any of my childhood. Very, very little of it. A few flashes, but most of it, I don't really remember much before the age of about 15.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And another thing that's to do with my head, I've just been reading in the paper online and stuff. People that walk around supermarkets in their pyjamas and stuff, they're on about banning them, aren't they?
It's Catherine does that. Catherine was telling me today she took the kids to school in her pyjamas.
Well, I think, why can't you just get dressed?
Get dressed, Catherine. Robert's right. But Robert and I, you can come in if you want and try and defend yourself. She's coming in, Robert. This could get a little bit nasty.
I hope so, because at the end of the day, I can't understand why can somebody walk around in a dressing gown.
It's disgusting.
No, I wouldn't do that.
It's
confidential information you're imparting on air.
It is disgusting.
It's not. It's practical.
Practical?
No, listen
to Robert. Robert speaks a lot of sense.
Hear me
Apart
out.
from the onion thing, and I forgive him
Hear me
for
out,
that.
Robert. I wasn't wearing all my pyjamas, just my pyjama top underneath a jumper, and I was wearing jeans, right?
That's acceptable, but what they're trying to ban in Tesco's and other supermarkets is people coming in their full pyjamas, slippers and dressing gowns.
When my grandparents were alive, they used to call that the Salford Shuffle, because you saw it a lot of the Salford Shuffle, because you saw it a lot down the precinct. Women wearing the
complete laziness.
Well, it is a bit.
I'm not being funny. Who wears the slippers in the rain and stuff? You don't do.
Yeah, the slippers are indoors.
There's a new version of this anyway. PJs to school is old news.
Yeah.
Right now it's all lycra.
Oh.
I do not believe for an instant that all the women who wear lycra to do the pickups and drop-offs are going to do a class afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just comfy wear.
Recently, as recently as a couple of weeks ago, I had to get something from the car at night time. It was parked out the front.
I like that. Did you go in your pyjamas?
Well, I went in my pyjama trousers. I was topless. I went out in the front garden, topless, and got something out of my car. And do you know what? I didn't care.
But you are vigilant, aren't you?
I don't think anyone could see from there.
All right.
Would you mean?
Well, what I'm saying... I don't mean that.
Oh.
Whenever I do stuff like that,
yeah,
it's normally a 90.
Yeah.
And my car is just a little bit... I have to go around a little corner to get to my car.
Well, again, I'm not being funny. Why did that in the street? That makes sense.
Because it's only a second. It won't be a minute anyway, and it's not worth getting my clothes on.
You're not going to get dressed just to go and get something out of the boot of the car.
No, when you've forgotten something, you need it straight away.
Well, if you're doing your supermarket shop...
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about wearing my nightie around the supermarket. That would be indecent.
But that's what they're trying to say. Yeah, people are going... driving the car, go early in the morning, go supermarket shopping. I've seen it myself in the 24-hour hours. So when I've been on the night out with my mates, I've been right with it.
We voted out of Europe.
You know
for
what
this
those
very
people
reason.
are, don't you?
Sexual
Perverts.
deviants, yeah. Sexual deviants. Their sexual behaviour is so deviant from the norm that they haven't got a clue what's right.
Guess what else I saw a woman go out in the other day?
Let me have a think.
Clothes?
No, not like a schoolgirl uniform.
Think about how cold it's been.
Oh,
a onesie? No, a mankini?
Cold and wet. What would you wear on your feet?
What was cold and wet?
Flippers.
Oh, the weather.
Her feet, she was wearing flip-flops.
You're joking. Well, one of the dads at school has been wearing shorts and flip-flops over the last few weeks.
Well, if you come up here in Blackpool, there's a lot of people wearing shorts. It is quite warm up here, to tell the truth.
It is quite mild. Well, Catherine...
I've even got my tulips and daffodils growing through already.
Well, they're going to die. They'll be... That's it, winter's over. They're saying in the papers, that's it, winter's over now. It's done. It's going to get warm. Global warming has ballsed up my... I bought a sledge.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ian. When Catherine's on about people in lycra trousers, why don't you wear a proper pair of pants instead of wearing a thong or something? When you can see the light, it's disgusting.
No. What are you talking about? Proper pants under lycra trousers you can't wear because you see double bum.
Yeah, but you see, the thing people don't realise is lycra, if you've got a fat bum and you bend over or you've got any knobbly bits, it's see-through, it's transparent.
Well, some of the leggings they wear I think are tight, so you don't realise.
Yeah, so you've got to wear some form of underwear. So wear something decent. Wear some, men and women, wear something decent under there. Because we don't want to see it.
Says the man who... What happened to you in the gym the other day?
I got a nut fell out of my pants when I was doing the spinning class.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
No, you shouldn't actually, Robert, because it's... I virtually abused myself. But no one could see it because I was wearing tracksuit trousers, but I knew, and it was getting more and more tangled up in my pants. So lucky I didn't have a hernia. Robert, listen, you make excellent point. He's so much more sensible than his brother. I mean, really, what a great guy. 0344 499 1000. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night Iain Lee.
On air and off the leash.
On Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, considering we didn't have anything for the show tonight, we've done an hour and 20 minutes of... Well, nothing really, but isn't that delicious to be able to turn on a radio show and it's about nothing. It's about nothing. Everything is about something hateful and nasty and mean. And to have a radio show where people like Dennis can call in and get on the air. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening to you.
How are you?
How are you this morning?
Well, it's night time, mate.
It's still night time.
I can feel my chest going a little bit. There's been a cough going around my house for the last month. Everyone's got this hacking cough, and I've avoided it, but I can just feel, here's a phrase I don't say very often, my chest getting a little moist.
Is it? Well, ask the children, they'll tell you what cough medicines to use.
Well, yeah, yes.
The best thing I've ever found when my baby boy was, he's now 56, but when he was a baby boy and he got a cough.
Whiskey.
3 drops of Ribena on a spoon and 2 drops of Navy rum.
There we go.
And he wouldn't let go of the damn spoon.
Yes, of course he would. I'm not giving my boys rum.
Good for him.
No.
Oh, you have it then?
No, well, I don't drink. And also, I don't, I'm trying now, as I get older, I used to, before, a few years ago, a couple of years ago, if I got a cold or something, I would go to the chemist and I'd buy loads of decongestion and night nurse and cough and Cavonia and all these things. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to take medicine when I get a cold, because I genuinely think, Dennis, that these medicines, these cold medicines, all they do is suppress the cold. They don't cure it. They don't get rid of it. They might, act as to unblock you a little bit. But I think they just keep the cold there for longer. So instead of having a cold for 3 weeks, you take the medicines, you've got a cold for 6 weeks. So I'm just trying to ride it out and maybe have a little steam and some hot honey and ginger and lemon.
Well, why don't you take the children to school like Cathy did with your pajamas on?
Oh.
That'll get rid of it.
We go to a posh school. That would not go down well there with some of the parents and the teachers.
Boo to the parents.
Boo to the parents.
Get them to get knotted.
I've got the kids tomorrow, which means I'm going to get home about 3, be asleep by 3:30, and be woken up at 6:30. I'm going to get 3 hours sleep. 3 hours sleep.
What's wrong with that? I don't get to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still up at 6 o'clock.
You're an old man. Every second you're awake is another bonus.
I know, yes, another day.
Yeah, exactly. So you've not got many of them left.
About kicking the bucket. And one morning when I get home and kick the bucket and it doesn't hurt, I know I've kicked the bucket.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. Exactly. You're going to be around forever, I think, Dennis. You're indestructible.
Well, I'm hoping so, because I'm expecting to collect a tenner off you at the end of May. So start saving up now.
Yes, boss. What you been up to today? Anything exciting?
No. I have a nurse comes in 3 times a day to do various things for me. Now,
a little bit of drainage.
I'm house-ridden. I can't go out, so I have the ladies coming in.
Beautiful.
I've just been in the shower.
Yeah.
Just got out of the shower, so, yeah.
Well, Dennis, it's always a pleasure. Always, good to know that you're still with us.
Well, I'll let you know when I'm not.
Yeah. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Eben!
Hi, Ian.
Hey, Eben. How's it going, man?
Good, thanks. Thanks for letting me on Saturday.
Literally my pleasure. Did you... Now...
I knew I was probably rubbish, but then...
It was all. You guys were all groovy. Did you manage? Because we, for those that don't know, the station, the radio station, is kind of very close to where the fireworks were in London for New Year's Eve, and the street I didn't realise was going to be completely cordoned off. And when I was going to give you a lift to the station, but I couldn't leave the street. Me and Kath were stuck in the street until 3:15.
I was queuing to get on to the Waterloo line for about an hour and a half. And then we were on a cram-packed train to Wandsworth.
Yeah.
A journey which should have taken around 20 minutes, took around 2 hours. I got back at 3:30.
So did your dad come and get you, or did you do it solo?
Yeah, my dad got me.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, I'm sure it was kind of quite safe because everybody there was rather jolly. But did you see anybody arguing in the street? We saw a couple of really good arguments.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah, people puking up. Proper London, Leicester Square, proper busy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to school tomorrow.
Back to life, back to reality. Who goes back to school on a Thursday? That seems very odd. Goes back for 2 days.
And I'm currently in work now.
Yeah. Oh, you're Deliveroo. Hey, me and Kath felt bad when you came in because we let some people on the air that we think wanted to tease you a little bit. There was, there's that weird bit with those guys that phoned on and knew you from another school, and we felt bad that we let them come on air. So we wanted to say sorry for that. We hope it didn't. I don't know what was going on. I don't know who they were or what their plan was, but we hope it didn't make you feel too uncomfortable.
No, it didn't.
Good.
I just try to forget about all that.
Yeah. Good. Well, we're sorry that we put you in a position that brought up, memories.
It isn't your fault. You can't.
Well, technically, it's Kath's fault. She should have instigated a better screening procedure. She's getting really angry with me tonight. She's sitting back, means she's going to type a rude message on the computer screen. She's thinking what it's going to be. But as long as you had fun, Eben, that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me.
And I'm seeing if I can potentially come through the rabbit hole.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad you've reminded me. So Kath and I are doing a series of live shows. We're recording a podcast in front of an audience called The Rabbit Hole. You can buy tickets for it, and you'll see 2 shows being recorded in a night, and tickets are selling out fast. The first show on Sunday, the 29th of January, has sold out. But we have tickets for Sunday, the 19th of February, and Sunday, the 26th of March, but not many tickets. You can buy these tickets if you go to ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. ticketsource.co.uk/IAIN-LEE. And I'm going to tweet that link right now. So thanks for the plug, Eben.
I'll retweet the link for you and share it on Facebook for you.
Thank you, mate. That's it. Everyone share it, retweet it, because this is actually the future of broadcasting. It means it might be a little bit rubbish.
I'm sure it'll be excellent.
Well, nothing we've done so far has been excellent, so there's every chance that this might be. Eben, thank you very much, mate. We're glad you had a good time. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. I'm gonna tweet the link now. Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Oh, looky here, looky there. It's Gatford. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me do it.
Oh,
I haven't got the fader up.
Yeah,
it's Gatford.
Yay!
Rat fans.
Rat fans.
Yeah.
Who died and made you and Cass the fashion police? I'm asking.
It was Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He died and it was in his will. I don't know if he is there, by the way, guys. If you any family and friends of Jean-Paul Gaultier are listening, I wouldn't take the announcement I've just made as gospel. I would send him a text.
Yeah. If you've got his number, that's probably a good idea.
Friends and family probably would do, wouldn't they?
Maybe. I don't know. Does he strike you as the man that uses a text machine?
Yeah, they could call them phones now. Yeah, he does, actually. He does. I bet he does. I use Google Maps as my sat-nav on my phone, right? Because sat-navs, it turns out, are rubbish and they don't last very long, right? And this is free. Yeah. And I used dictation.
What?
Dictation.
Who's he?
It's where you speak into it. And it recognises... Oh, speaking of gadgets, so, because I'm a gold member on Periscope, right, because I'm like dead successful and popular and stuff, I'm allowed to use their beta of streaming Periscope videos. I don't know if it's beta, maybe everyone can do it, I don't know. But streaming Periscope videos in 360. You know what that means?
Like when you can turn it all the way around.
So I would have it like in the middle of the studio there. Yeah. And then you could watch it on your phone, and if you moved your phone around, you could look around the studio.
So I could finally face it away from you.
Oh, here we go.
Well.
Why don't you face your radio to 97.3?
What? And listen to Uncle Nigel sprouting. God,
Sprouting.
Yeah. I'd rather turn the radio off. Thanks.
Do you want a quick game of brilliant tennis?
Yeah, go on, yeah.
All right, then.
How does it work? Tell me the rules.
Well, I say something brilliant, and you say something brilliant, and we go back and forth.
Okay, yeah, okay. I have two things that could be brilliant.
What would you...
Maybe.
I'm going to start. The Beach Boys.
Smooth peanut butter.
And the thing is, that is obviously disgusting.
Whoa!
But no. But because it's brilliant... I'm not allowed to say that is disgusting, but so there's no wrong answer, but that is disgusting.
Okay.
You are a pervert.
No, I'm not.
Roast potatoes covered in mint sauce.
Now I've got an issue with your roast potatoes cooking as well. Okay. 20 minutes you boil them?
No, 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes.
Whoa. No, not boil them. You boil them for 7 minutes.
No. You parboil them.
Yeah,
and you
7 minutes.
No, 7 minutes. Mate, 7 minutes is nowhere near long enough. No, it's about... I've not done a roast for a long time. About 20 to 30 minutes. So they've still got to be hard, but they've got to be able to, when you put them in the colander to drain them, that when you shake it around, they've got to go a bit mushy on the outside.
A bit fluffy, yeah. I've cooked roast potatoes in 2017.
Well, I bet they tasted horrible at 7 minutes.
They're very nice. 7 minutes.
What temperature do you have the oven on?
About 220.
Jesus God. And how long do you cook them for?
About 40 minutes.
He hasn't got a clue. Kath, come in. We're doing it. We're doing jacket potatoes. Come in. The roast potatoes. Roast potatoes. We're doing it, right?
Well, you.
Ed, put your microphone on. Put your headphones on. We're doing this. Shut up.
Okay, yeah.
Shut up. Ed, do you cook roast potatoes?
Occasionally, especially at Christmas.
Tell me how you cook your roasties. Let's do this. And let's just clarify. Gatford has parboiled them for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And cooked them for 30 minutes.
40 minutes. I said between 30 and 40.
So 35 minutes.
That'll do.
On what, 220?
That's about gas mark 7 or 220 in it or something.
All right. I bet. Disgusting. Ed.
Boil them for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
What?
Just hear me out, Gatford.
Yeah.
Then shuffle the pan or shuffle the pan shake it around. That's the word I'm looking for. Shake it around so it fluffs them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Put them in a roasting dish.
Yeah.
In the oven on 180 for about 30 minutes absolute max.
Oh, no. 180?
But 25 minutes.
No.
At 180,
25 minutes? So are you not cooking these potatoes?
No.
Catherine, let's hear yours.
Fan oven at 180.
You
25 minutes.
You do your potatoes.
You idiot!
I'm kind of more with Ed on the 10 minutes.
Okay.
For parboiling them, right?
Okay.
Depending on the size of your potatoes.
I don't know
obviously.
what par means. Is that short for part?
It means not completely to lob,
So
which
it means-
is what would happen if you put them in for 20
So
minutes.
it means part boil.
Yeah.
We say parboil. That must be an Anglo-Saxon thing.
If you want.
Okay.
Lazy just dropping the tea, I
Right?
think, isn't it?
Then I'll whack them in the colander to
Yeah,
drain them.
yeah. Yes, I'm saying.
Then I jiggle them about in the colander, not in
Gafford,
the
shut up, mate, because I'm actually getting angry
not
with
in
you
the
now.
pan, right?
Yeah.
Then
in
I
the
whack them
colander.
back in the pan, and I wait. The meat's on for a while.
Yeah.
I whack them in with the meat in the same pan,
Yeah.
and it's normally about, I would say, probably about 180,
Yeah.
and it'll go in. They'll go in for up to an hour.
Now we're getting close. Now we're getting close to it. Here's the thing: I've never cooked a roast with meat. That's
Oh, it's gorgeous with the meat.
Well, I've not. Well, I mean, I've had roast potatoes cooked in the meat juice, but I personally have never cooked a roast dinner that's involved meat because I've just, I've only been a meat eater for a little while. But here we go.
About 4 years now, isn't it?
Parboil them low bubbles for 20 minutes. Nice and soft.
20
and
minutes?
flat.
No, there'd be nothing left.
No, mate.
there'd be no.
No.
Mashed potatoes.
No, shut up.
Even mash, it'd be
Shut
lob,
up.
wouldn't it?
Well, this is from putting them in the pan to turning the water.
Oh, right, okay. So
lid on. And then when it starts bubbling, you take the lid off.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
So,
hold
you put
on,
them
are
in
you
cold
saying-
water.
Gafford, you seriously, you do this thing where one of us is talking and you keep talking. And the thing is today, you're talking even more rubbish than normal, so button it, mate.
So you're putting them in cold water?
Yeah. And
Oh, right,
okay,
I get
that's
it.
different,
I never
that's
do that. I put them straight in the boiling water.
Okay, that's great. That's fine. Put them in the colander. Shush, they're nice and fluffy, but they're still very soft.
Yeah.
Right. Then the oil has been in the oven warming up while I've been doing that. So the oil is warm.
What oil are you using?
Oh, I'm using Greek olive oil.
What?
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Do you know that doesn't go very well at high temperatures, olive oil?
All right, mate. Sure. Nice
Anyway,
one.
carry on.
Yeah, thanks, I will. And 160... hour and 20. Boom! Have
You
that!
are eating
160.
You're eating,
mate.
Like not roast
I've cooked
potatoes.
them for an
You're eating like carpet potatoes.
I have cooked them for an hour longer than you've cooked them, you absolute prune.
Now can I just clarify one issue? Are you saying the 20 minutes is from the moment the potatoes go
I don't
in
quite
and you turn the
remember.
oven
No,
on?
I don't quite remember that. That's by the by. 160, an hour and 20. So they're nice and crispy and a little bit burnt on the outside. A little bit burnt. Dangerous.
Burnt
I'm a
on the
maverick.
inside as well.
And I baste them about every 25 minutes. Got to baste them. Fluffy on the inside. Perfect.
You never do this, do you?
What do you mean I never do this? Of course I do this.
Some things
Of course I do. Well, he's doing it. Will you shut up, Gatford? One more of them, and you're in big trouble. Hang on a second, David, you want in on this?
Ian.
Yes.
I'm going to have to go definitive here. Like, but listen, this is how you cook roast potatoes, right? You put them in the. So you peel your potatoes, you put them in a pan, you let them boil, you boil them for 9 minutes, you put them in the oven. 230 degrees, 40 minutes done. Bob's your own cue.
Goodbye, David. I've cut him off.
He's an animal.
What is it? Who does it? Why are you cooking them at too high a temperature? 160.
You've got to cook them. What temperature do you cook your jacket on?
The jacket is 160 for about an hour and a half.
Whoa, well, who's got time for that?
All right, hang on a minute. Get David back, because I want to get his jacket thing.
Right.
Who's got
jacket.
time for that?
And here's the thing. Don't do jackets in the microwave. It just doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, Catherine.
This is how we do it.
No, it doesn't work.
Wait. Hear me out. Depending on the size of the jacket,
Yeah.
I'll start it off in the microwave.
You're going to prick it.
Wait.
Do you prick it? You've got to prick it, otherwise it explodes.
No, because it's not in that long, right?
David, I brought you back because I want to get your jacket recipe, but just wait there a second.
It's in the microwave.
Yeah.
It's in there for about 5 minutes.
No,
wait. Wait. Then I take it out. I roll it in oil. I drizzle, encrust it with salt, with sea salt, right? Whack it.
Salt and pepper.
Whack it in the oven. Leave it in there for, pretty much, it depends how big it is. But I would say at least half an hour. Nice and crunchy.
But what you've got to do is you've got to get your knife and you've got to split it around the side
Oh, God.
before it goes into the oven.
What are you
Listen, Lee, I'm a cook, mate. This is what we do.
No, where do you cook? Old people's homes where they can't taste how crap your food is?
No, mate, I cook in a 2-rose... What?
You cook in a what? A 2-rose restaurant?
No, a 2 AA Rosette restaurant in
It's only got
Dulwich,
2
mate. This
AA
is what we do.
Rosettes.
This
That's
is how-
rubbish.
Where's the restaurant, David? I'd like to come.
in East Dulwich. It's called the French House.
There's no two A-star restaurants in East Dulwich. What are you talking about?
Where?
Exactly. Let's all have a laugh. Gatford, how do you do jackets?
You preheat your oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You prick them before you put them in.
Of course you do that.
Yeah. And you put them in the oven for about an hour at about the highest temperature that you can get.
But you have to slice them around the side, put your oil on it, put your salt and pepper on it, everything.
Gatford, you prick. Gatford, you prick.
Yes, I do prick the jacket potato.
Gatford, you prick.
Ian, you prick.
Gatford, you prick.
Ian, you prick.
Gatford, you prick. There we go. He said yes.
I think we've established that.
Right. Here's what you do, guys. You're all insane. You're all absolutely insane. You get a big spud, and you want a big one.
Yeah.
You pierce the top with a fork. Some may call it pricking. I don't know.
You pierce the top. Where's the top of a potato?
What do you mean? Where's the top? There is a top and a bottom. There is a front and a back, and there are sides.
Depends how you're lying it.
Everyone knows that. Meanwhile, you've had your oven on 180 for a good 20 minutes, so it's hot. You put it in.
Mate, you've never cooked a jacket potato in your life, have you?
What the hell? Of course I've cooked it. I was a student.
Have you ever cooked an edible jacket potato in your life?
Have you ever eaten a fist? Because I'm about to ram one down your throat.
Why don't more women ring?
Only the language Ian understands, isn't it? The language of violence.
You cook it for about an hour and a half.
You prick.
We've established that.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Time to wait an hour and a half.
Well, you have to. This is the thing. You have to anticipate being hungry, and then you get it out. You cut it with a knife. You get some butter, and you cut the butter into it. Then you get some mayonnaise, and you get some grated cheese.
You make 2 slashes cross on the top. And you squeeze the sides.
Let's go to the international amongst us, so we can all join together as Brits and laugh at him.
Yeah, go on.
Do you have jacket potatoes in your country?
Yes, we do.
How do you cook them?
You do nuke them for a bit.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
This is the problem with your generation. This is the problem with your generation. You can't do. You want something good. You can't do it by halves, right? And putting a potato in a microwave is doing it by halves.
But you're not doing the whole thing in the microwave.
Starting it off.
Next, you're going to be telling me that Ed cooks soup in the microwave instead of on the top.
You can actually do quite good soup in the microwave. Right,
yeah, soup's in the microwave.
So you ruined it already by putting it in the microwave. Good, made it a bit soggy. Okay, nice, yeah. Got a soggy potato. What's your next step?
Next step, in the oven, about 45 minutes. Covered in cheese. Somewhere between 180 and 200.
The cheese is in the oven?
No, sorry. You
said covered in cheese in the oven, mate.
No, not at this stage. I'm skipping a step there. So in the oven.
Unbelievable.
In the oven for about 45 minutes.
Yes.
Are you oiling this thing up, or are you just going in naked?
Just going in naked.
I don't oil it. I don't oil it. I don't grease it.
And then take it out.
Grease it,
Take it out. Chuck a bit of grated cheese on the top.
Yeah.
Put it back in for
are you cutting it open and squeezing it?
Yeah, of course.
Are you putting butter in?
No, you do that later on.
Yeah, Gatford.
Save that for after.
Yes.
So you've got that good melted butter goodness to taste. Put a bit of cheese on there, put it back in for 5 minutes.
Well, I think
max.
we can all agree that Ed's is the most rubbish.
Yeah.
As a foreigner. That's why we voted leave. So we wouldn't have to listen to that filth.
Yeah.
David's put the phone down out of disgust. Good.
I've probably got something on the oven.
The man seems to know what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off, Gatford. And Catherine, you've really gone down in my estimation. Really have.
You've never tasted my spud, so don't knock it.
I've seen your spud once.
I beg pardon.
It was a very windy day. I do like the sound of Ed's cheesy spud.
He paints a lovely picture.
Late night Iain Lee. Unfiltered night talk with the original king of unconventional conversation on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Do we talk about that on air? Is that... I don't know if that's...
Let's have a think about it first.
I've replied.
Okay.
Saying that I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Particularly when it's an attractive young woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a bit misleading. It's weird, isn't it? People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're strange. No one remembers your name when you're strange. Anyway, James in Los Angeles has sent.
Where's my job, James?
Sent a little tweetington that I think clears up the whole potato debate.
Yeah.
Jamie Oliver's recipe for.
Although we know he tells
roast potatoes.
Fibs about time sometimes.
Oven on 190 degrees. Parboil for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Roast for 30 minutes. Then a further 40 to 45 minutes. So those timings are tallying in.
Yeah. But he's not sticking it in with his meat, which I would.
Well, he's got 5 kids. Jonathan!
What kind of potato?
Roasties. I love all kinds of potatoes. New potatoes, baby new potatoes, roast potatoes, jacket potatoes, potato salad, mashed potatoes, smash.
One of my favourite things to do with some baby new potatoes is treat them like baked potatoes, and you do them with rosemary.
That's so
no, gorgeous.
What a waste of time. What a waste of time.
No, beautiful.
No, it's a waste of tiny.
Gorgeous.
I really fancy some smash.
That stuff put me off. Mashed potatoes when I was a kid.
Well, it's not potatoes.
No, exactly. We used to have it for school dinners, and you'd get it, and it was in a flipping, the ice cream scoop.
Yeah,
and that put me right
I could
off.
do with a bit of smash.
Mashed potato. I wouldn't eat my mum's. And she said, "It's not school mash." I wouldn't eat it.
All right. Let's go to the next. Let's get advice. Hang on a minute, Jonathan. And you're in on this, Ed. You're in on this, even though everything you've said this evening about food has disgusted me. We're going to take it to the next level. How do you do mashed potato? Let's go for it. Let's go for it, because I'll have you guys know I'm the master. Catherine, you go first.
Okay.
A whole half an hour talking about how to cook potatoes.
Right. So you cut your potatoes up small to start with. Not too small. I'd say probably golf ball size.
You're not getting any visual clues from me.
You put them in the water, and it's already hot. It's already going. Right.
Yeah, of course it is.
And you boil it until you stick your fork in, or your knife, and it sort of starts to come apart a bit. Then they're out straight away.
Yep.
You get in there, bit of milk, bit of butter, and give it a good pounding.
Did that hand movement again? There we go. Wow. Someone's...
Yeah. I tried once...
Lads round your way were lucky.
Well, shut up. I tried once, because I saw about, posh people do, like, pureed potatoes, and I did it with a blender.
No.
Oh, don't do that. It goes to, like, wallpaper paste.
Edward, do you have mashed potato in your country?
Yes, we do.
How do you make it?
Not including the microwave frozen stuff. Similar to Kath's recipe.
Yes.
Except...
You get microwave frozen mashed potatoes?
Yeah, no, it is disgusting.
Wow.
That's why, so to make real mashed potato, same recipe as Kath.
Yeah.
And potatoes. The size doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If it's the smaller the better. But when you do add, you add a little bit of milk.
Just a bit.
And a massive knob of butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
You give it a damn good thrashing.
Jonathan?
I don't really do potatoes or cooking at all. I think if I had to, hypothetically, I'd just smash it.
No, mate.
Put it in a bowl and just smash it.
Mate, if you don't do it, you can't get involved
That's why
in
you
this
don't eat
conversation.
potatoes.
Here we go. You get your potatoes. You don't cut them too small. You don't want them too small, because then they're gonna. You cut them if they're big ones in quarters, but generally in halves. You boil them up for 40 minutes. It's a long boil.
You must have a big pan.
Yeah, I do actually. You take them out, you get them in the colander, you drain them off. You give them a little zhuzh as well, because they start to break down a bit. Beautiful. Then you put them back in the pan, you get the masher out, and you start mashing.
Mm-hmm.
You start mashing, right? But you just get a few mashes just to get
How you
breaking
mashing?
up. Mashing it like that, nice and slow, steady.
You have to be mashed.
You go to your kitchen, you go to your fridge, and you pull out anything in your fridge that is white.
Anything?
Anything you can find that is... Eggs aren't white.
Boiled egg?
Eggs are brown.
They're white on the outside when you boil...
Eggs are brown. What are you talking about? Listen,
you get white eggs.
Pay attention. Pay attention. I don't see the colour of my eggs. You get your milk, double cream. Oh, yes, please.
Oh.
Is that some mayonnaise there? Beautiful.
Oh, you animal.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That is egg, by the way, mayonnaise.
I know how you make mayonnaise. Bit of salad cream. Oh, baby, yes.
You dirty...
Then, so you put all that in, and you put, notice this little bit of milk, whack it in there, Whoa, get all that in there. Then you get your cheddar, strong cheddar, number 5. You grate it up, grating up the cheddar, put it in potato, grate it up in there, great. Mash it up. Bit lumpy, perfect. The lumps are what keep it real. You serve that up, you will not, bit black pepper as well.
This sounds like George's Marvellous Medicine.
Just mix it up.
But you make a right mess.
Mix it up, mush it up. Don't matter about the mess. Serve it up. Little darling, serve it up. And that is the best mash you will ever get.
Kath, remind me, if Ian ever invites us over to dinner, just check the menu.
No, don't worry, Ed. That won't be happening. Good. For both of you. That won't be happening, so you're okay there. Woo! So you don't have to worry about that, because neither of you...
Are you eating anything else with the mash? Because you've got half the kitchen in it.
Yeah, baked beans. Use that, and you do those in the small saucepan.
It's supposed to be an accompaniment, the mash, not the whole dinner.
Jonathan, what have you called in for?
Has the other Jonathan called in this year yet?
No.
I'd like to declare myself the best Jonathan of 2017, in that case.
Okay. 0344
For now.
499. If there are any other Jonathans listening...
A better Jonathan.
Who would like to... Because it's a very, very poor start in terms of Jonathan...
Doesn't eat potatoes.
No. Very low-level Jonathaning there. So if there are any Jonathans that think they can do better than that one, 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. And I'll be honest, you won't have to do a lot to guarantee your place as the best Jonathan of 2017. This is going out on the radio, yeah?
A bit, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Oh, no! Charles Manson's dying! 2017's going to be even worse than 2016!
No, I think that's a good thing.
Imagine, right, if in 2017, because Charles Manson is dying, he's 82. Mm-hmm. Imagine...
They said on the news yesterday, the BBC News, that he led a cult and he killed...
Yeah, they called him a mass murderer on LBC.
He didn't actually kill anyone, did he?
Well,
with his own hands.
He might have killed someone back at Spahn Ranch before, but he didn't kill...
Did he kill 9 people?
No, he instructed them. LBC called him a mass murderer. And he didn't. He didn't kill anyone, apart from... He may have chucked someone down a well. But, no, he ordered them to do it. So, no, he was not a mass murderer. He's a dodgepot. Mm-hmm. Wrote a brilliant song for the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
But it would be good if in 2017 all the bad people died. Instead of the good people, all the bad people died. So, like, Brady? Brady's still around?
Mm-hmm.
Brady, the Yorkshire Ripper, Manson, if they all went one by one. Rose West, is she still around?
Mm-hmm.
I think she is still around, isn't she? They all went. That'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be like karmic, universal justice to the universe making up for the complete balls up that was 2016.
Although you are veering dangerously close to starting a let's hang 'em all phone in.
No, I'm talking about no. What is going on? What are you listening to? Well, I didn't say let's hang them all. I'm saying, would it be good if the universe killed all the bad guys?
All right, the universe can do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Putin. Putin. What are you talking about? Putin. Well, George Galloway's mate. Yeah. You want George Galloway's mate to die? Well, it's a bit weird. Yeah, actually, I take it back. Putin.
Don't keep saying it.
Where's my Putin? We may not have any callers for the last hour. There's another hour of this to go, and I'm feeling tired. I know I'm only going to get 3 hours sleep tomorrow.
So do we.
Huh?
We mentioned it.
So what should we do for the last hour of the show? We need a theme.
Brilliant bingo.
You can't do that for an hour. That's a little bit of fun. No one seems to understand Brilliant Bingo. It's easy. We'll have a quick game of it after the news. All right, here we go. For the last hour of the show, forget potatoes. We've done potatoes.
Done.
Potatoes have been done.
Eggs.
How would you make a good potato salad?
All right. Yeah. I'm in.
Go.
Right. So you get your spuds.
Yeah.
Cut them up to a reasonable size.
You're
right?
obsessed with cutting them before you boil them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Saves time.
Yep.
But you don't want them to go too soft. So again, I would put.
What spuds are you using?
New potatoes.
Here we go. Good
Leave
girl.
the skin
Good girl. Good girl.
In fact, if they're really small, don't cut them up.
Good girl.
Right.
Very good girl. That is it. We're in.
Anyway,
Yeah.
do them till you can stick a knife in, but they're still quite whole. Take them out.
Take them out.
Wait till they're cool.
Yeah.
Then you get your creme fraiche, your chives.
You are a naughty lady.
Yeah.
Creme fraiche.
Not playing games.
No.
Chives.
Yeah.
Whack them together. Maybe a bit of lemon juice.
Spring onions.
I
would go mayonnaise, but now you've mentioned creme fraiche. I think you won that one. Ed, you're not allowed to play this game. He's falling asleep in there. Unbelievable. Another hour of this rubbish to go, dear listener. I can only apologise. 03. Imagine if the people have tuned over here because the Farage is on and they're getting tired of his ranting. And we've spent 30 minutes arguing about how to cook a potato.
I would love to know how many microwaves have been set in motion while we've been talking.
0344. Is that the right number? Yeah. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you can call in about absolutely anything you want. Let's maybe try and avoid the potato conversation, though, for a little while, if you don't mind. You're listening to Late Nights with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Late Night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Well, I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine. It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing I ever do is watch my leading ladies kiss some other guy while I'm bandaging my knee. I might fall from a tall building, I might roll a brand new car, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. I've never spent much time in school, but I taught ladies plenty. It's true, I hire my body out for pay. Hey, hey, I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teague's, blown up for Raquel Welch. But when I wind up in the hay, it's only hay. Hey, hey, I might jump an open drawbridge or Tarzan from a vine, 'cause I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood look so fine.
So tomorrow we might have, although I've been a bit late getting back to him, so it might be next week, but we might have Simon Reynolds on, who's written this brilliant book that my sister got me for Christmas, which it's 600...
a weighty tome.
650 odd pages, shock and awe, glam rock and its legacy. It's all about glam rock. It turns out I don't like a lot of glam rock, 'cause it's all Bowie and Roxy Music, and I don't like either of those
T-Rex.
acts. Yeah, but I'm fascinated by Mark Bolan.
Are you?
Yeah, a very strange, fey little man who became arrogant, and
massive sex symbol, wasn't he?
Partly because of the cocaine. Big friends with John Peel, then kind of shunned John Peel when he became massive, but he was a pop star, and he was friends with David Bowie, who obviously became a superstar, and Bolan never had a hit in the States. Never had a hit in the States.
I only really know the hits, the T-Rex, and they're a bit samey for me.
You're just a cheap stir for my love. Girl, I'm just a cheap stir for your love.
Yeah.
But this book is brilliant because, A, it talks about Gary Glitter, and no one talks about Gary Glitter, and it goes into a really interesting write-up of Gary Glitter's music, and then, it says he's a nonce and all of that. But it also says... 0344 499 1000, by the way. It talks about Slade in serious terms, with them being a serious... Gosh, there's Iggy Pop looking like a really hot woman whilst being whipped by someone in a Nazi outfit. And we also might be getting this gentleman on. That guy there, Rodney Bingenheimer. He might be coming on the show. The guy there with the glasses.
In the fringe?
Yes, he might be coming on. Anyway, so Simon Reynolds, who's written this book, might be coming on tomorrow. He might be coming on next week. He's in Los Angeles, California. Who else have we got coming on? That's it, isn't it?
I've got irons in some fires. I don't want to jinx it.
Noddy Holder.
Well, various irons in various fires. Don't jinx any more.
Well, who else you got?
Especially don't mention ageing pop stars. this programme.
God. Is Graham Nash coming on?
I've had a word about Graham Nash.
Yeah, yeah.
It's bad news. He will eventually, but he's not publicising anything at the moment, but they know we want him.
Because we had a date lined up.
We didn't have a date, it turns out, did we? Because she never actually properly confirmed
you
it.
got me to come in early one day to talk to him.
Yeah, and she said she would send the...
Turns out you didn't have a phone number for him.
She said she'd send the phone number and then she went off.
But you should have...
I've had an awful illness.
Yeah,
so let's not mention it.
Well, you didn't check...
She might be...
You
she
didn't
might still not be all right.
confirm that you had a phone number, and you didn't. And I turned up early, like about 4 hours early, and then you went, "Oh, I haven't got a phone number." And ditzy.
No, I was really I really am gutted
Bud.
about that. What? I never showed you anything apart from apoplectic rage that I had been so stupid.
Well, these things.
These things don't happen that often, so don't start that business.
They do happen quite a lot with you. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Wow.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Big Brother is it's a bit ropey. So they've just got the it's the best C's of the C's, is it? It's C words. It's the biggest C words.
Controversial candidates. Don't start, because we're not encouraging them to do it, so don't even you do it in their heads.
But I don't really... It's mainly... I don't understand why it's some of the best ones from the past, best ones being the most argumentative.
The All-Stars.
And but some new ones as well. I don't get that crossover.
Well, because they know... Basically, everyone wants to see a row, even though I think it's really boring now on Big Brother and shows like that, when you know that they've got people who are going in there and they're just going in to do a Jeremy Kyle every day.
I don't like the pop art look.
I think it's too bright.
Yeah, I like it when it's dark and mysterious. I think the diary room looks awful. Absolutely awful.
It's very uncomfortable, but it's supposed to, isn't it?
Well, I've been in the
We should not watch it, really.
Well, no, but you keep saying, "Oh, it's Big Brother, can you put it on?"
No, you put it on tonight.
Yeah, because you said you were...
Put the telly on, I said. We were watching those two bald fellas claiming money back.
The sheriffs are coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're going around and bullying poor people. I love that programme. Serves them right for being poor. They shouldn't be poor. They shouldn't be poor.
They weren't all poor. Some of them were just chances.
Yeah. I don't like the chances so much. I prefer it when it's poor people.
The best one... It's me saying I don't like conflict. The best one was when there was almost a rumble in the porch that time.
Oh, when the ex-con, he'd just been out for GBH or ABH or something.
Very his trigger reflex was very, very fine.
Yeah, he was doing the thing of standing in the face. I was on a tube today, and I became aware... No, it was on the tube. And I became aware that I was standing too close to a young woman.
Space Invader.
Yeah. And there was no reason. I mean, I thought that people were behind me, so I was moving forward. But actually, there wasn't anybody behind me. So I was just standing really...
Did you move back?
No, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to... I mean, it wasn't like...
You weren't breathing down her neck or anything?
No, God, no. It wasn't, pervy. Or anything.
Oh, you think that, right?
Well, okay. I would be very surprised if she'd have but it was definitely...
But there was no need for you to be standing so close?
No, not at all. Very strange scenario. I mean, I should have just stepped back, but I froze. I had brain freeze. And,
Well, it's good that you even consider things like that, because some men don't. You know, that whole thing of walking down a street and walking on the same side of the road as a woman in the dark is quite... intimidating sometimes.
Yeah.
So a lot of men consider it and cross the road.
I'd cross the road, or I like make noise to indicate. No,
what kind of noise?
No, I like whistle or you know.
Oh, right, because that's not creepy.
No. Well, what do you expect me? So that they know that there is someone behind them, not whistle. I don't know what I do. I'll cough.
Oh.
I'll cough. What? I don't want them to do that thing. Sometimes on the way home, I stop off at a petrol station that's open and go get a little snackette. And it's quite a big forecourt. And I was driving in the other night, and there was a fella who had headphones on. This is like 1:30 in the morning. And he was walking right in the middle of the forecourt. And I went up behind him because I had to go up behind him, and I parked. And he didn't know I was there in my car. And he got the fright of his life. He turned around, he said, "Whoa! Give me that." And he did the... What are you effing doing? You should effing... And I was thinking... Well,
you're the one that disabled your hearing.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing it because he was scared.
Right.
And I went, "What are you talking about, you idiot?" Like that. Right. And then when we were in the shop, both of us avoided each other because it would have been uncomfortable. But that was his fault for being a prune, right? Yeah. But what am I supposed to do when I'm walking down the street and there's a young lady? Well, get this. Middle-aged men get scared in those situations as well.
Yeah, I know.
But what am I supposed to do? I make a noise so that she knows, she doesn't get surprised when suddenly I'm up behind her and she's like, "Oh, you don't want to do that."
Well, you don't want to be getting up behind her. You want to be giving her a wide berth.
Supposing it's an alleyway.
Well, don't be... what are you doing down alleyways?
Shortcut. It's a shortcut. So I live down there.
What, down an alley? You don't know.
But I have to get...
What is this elaborate scenario you're...
In London. Have you been to London? There's loads of alleyways. There's loads of avenues and alleyways, right? And sometimes you have to... Do you know... But sometimes you'll...
That's when I'm most on my guard, when I'm in a position where it's enclosed like that. So you coming any closer would terrify me.
Well, what noise should I make then?
Try not to go down there.
So only women can walk down dark alleyways?
No, I try not to go down dark alleyways. Although I have found myself doing it where I live. Yeah. I've lived there since I was 10, so I know it really well.
It's a great story. Yeah.
No, wait.
Okay.
So sometimes on the way home from, say, the station, when I used to come in on the train sometimes, I'll find myself just walking the way I used to walk on the way to school, home from school. But I forget that it's a dark... cut through, and it's probably not the best idea. And if I was watching someone else doing it on the beginning of Casualty, I would know what was going to happen.
You've just told everybody the route you walk home. When you do it,
no, I haven't.
They're going to kill you. What's your spontaneous weapon?
I've been taught SAS technique. You're laughing at. You won't be laughing if you tried to assault me.
You've been taught.
I have.
SAS technique.
I have.
All right, mate. Go on. So, what's your spontaneous?
Well, you know
weapon?
the first rule of SAS technique is you don't broadcast your itinerary. So I can't tell you, but I might show you later.
Mine would be.
It's not
the
what you
classic
expect.
Keys between the fingers.
I do that as well.
But right now, I've got a plug in my pocket. Got a plug. So a plug, and I was fingering it today in my pocket. Perfect weapon.
You're not weird at all, are you? I wouldn't want...
Got a plug in my pocket.
Was that where you were bearing down on a woman in a dark alley in coffee?
For God, please, don't say that, because that is how rumours start. Don't, Catherine. That is how rumours start, and that is an unfair thing to do.
You said it.
I'm a feminist, okay? So, please. What?
Go on.
This is what a feminist looks like. Here, let me burn your bra for you.
You see there you go.
It's a plug. So the 3 pins of the plug through the fingers. So if anyone comes to assault me physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally, whatever it may be, smack them in the face with that. But they're thicker than keys. So with
assuming they're coming from in front of you. What if they're coming from behind? See, that's the thing I've been shown.
All right, so go on then. Help.
You drop, right? Instead of, because they expect you to do that. No. You drop forward.
Yeah.
They'll fall over you. You grab their leg from between yours. Boom, straight over.
I told you when I was at my.
And you snap their necks.
I went round to see. Don't snap anyone's necks, unless they've got
the SAS do.
I went round to my friend Steve's house years ago, right? And it was late at night, about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was going to go around there and stay around there. And I rang the doorbell, and it took a long time to open. And then he opened it, and there was a gentleman with him. Right, I thought, this is weird. And I bounded in. I felt completely honest. I thought he was buying marijuana off this gentleman. I thought
you thought party time.
I thought he had a drug deal around because that was the lifestyle that Steve was leading at the time. So I bounded in. So it's weird that both him and his dealers come down the stairs to open the front door because it was a flat.
And just in case the boss or Ofcom are listening, this is going to underline why drugs are a bad idea for people.
Oh, no.
Definitely not encouraging it.
Oh, no. We had a brilliant time. No, there were no drugs involved. No, I'm not encouraging. This is just the lifestyle that Steve was leading at the time. So then I bounded upstairs and we're talking, and suddenly I realised there's a weird vibe going on, right? And then I'm thinking, why is this drug dealer carrying a rounder's bat? That's odd. And Steve was looking very sheepish, which is unlike him. And I'm chatting, and then suddenly it dawned on me, like 2 or 3 minutes into it, Steve had been having it away with this fella's missus. And he'd come round to
challenge him to a catching competition.
To duff him up.
Right.
To duff him up. And suddenly I started panicking. And I was going, guys, this is nothing to do with me. I'm going to go. You're going nowhere, sunshine. You're part of this now.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And I said to him, thinking on my feet, I said, listen, this is before exactly what I worked out what was going on. I thought it was just like a robbery or a mugging or something in his house. So I said, listen, I can withdraw £1,000 on my debit card. Let's go and get some money and let's sort this out. And he went, that was the wrong thing to say. He went nuts.
Yeah, because you're talking about his wife's honour.
Yeah, he went nuts. This is about money. You think you can buy me off? My mate's coming round and he's got a gun.
What?
Whoa. Okie dokie. So his mate then came round with a gun. Except...
What?
We never saw the gun.
Oh.
All we
his
saw...
finger in his pocket.
All we saw was his hand in a pocket and a bulge protruding from the... But at the time, I'm cacking myself. I don't want to in any way pretend that there was any bravery or any... I was terrified.
Even though it could have been a banana.
Yeah. I was calling them sir. Because I didn't want to get shot. But what I was doing, I was clever. I had my phone in my pocket. And I'm dialing 999. And I was going, Steve... Just remind me where we are. Remind us where we are again. He said, what do you mean? Just remind us the address of your flat.
Cunning.
And so he says the address of the flat. And I'm thinking the old Bill are going to come around. This went for about 20 minutes. We're there. And there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. And, you know. And then they went. And it turns out I hadn't dialed 999. I dialed 666. The number of the beast. So there was no help whatsoever. Me and Steve cacked ourselves, and we gave it 20 minutes. Then we jumped out into my car and we went and checked into a hotel. It was terrifying. But what I should have done then, and someone said to me, this is what you do in these situations. You go loco.
Because they won't know what they're dealing with.
You go loco and start acting crazy. Darren Brown did it once. Darren Brown got mugged and he started talking to them about walls or something. He started going off into some mad rambling monologue about walls, and it blew their minds, and they stopped mugging him.
You reminded me of an incident.
Yeah.
When I'd been living in Paris for a while,
bloke got his wanger out.
This was after the wanger incident.
Wow.
Right. And after I'd been followed home once, and a guy tried to force his way into the, like they have the
vestibule.
So a big door, and then there's like an old creaky lift, and I was about 3 flights of stairs up. But apparently, what they would do is they'd get you to the door and get you into that sort of
Kim Kardashian style.
Well, I guess, but his intentions were not to rob me of my jewels because I didn't have any. So to speak. So I told my housemate about this. She was the landlady, and she said, "Right, well, if he'd have got you in there, no one would have come out to help you, because they'll complain about a party, but they won't hear about a woman screaming. They'll let you."
Yeah, that's France. I'm glad we voted out.
It terrified me. And it was kind of a delayed reaction to that. I was about to leave Paris. I'd been there a while, and I'd become quite annoyed at the way I was being treated by various dodge pots.
Yeah.
And this bloke came up to me in the street as I was walking home one night, again quite late on my own. But, it's Paris. There was always people about to a certain point, so I didn't feel like I was vulnerable up to then. But I kind of realised I was on my own, and he started this patter again that the guy had done before he just sort of tried to force me into the lobby. So I turned round and I gave him, in the most perfect French, I was saying, "So what's the plan then? You're going to cut me up into small pieces?"
Whoa, Catherine!
Straight in there, straight into... He backed off.
Yeah.
His face went completely pale. He went, whoa, sorry, I thought you were foreign.
Eee.
And he ran! I'm not a very tall person, but he thought I was nuts.
Yeah, well... When have you gone loco? 0344 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain.
Late night Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
You're like, kid, I'm buzzing about Saturday night. Yeah, ma'am, make us a brew, yeah. Get us a pint, lad. I'm gagging. Yeah, that beer is mint. He's dead sounding, that bloke. Hello everyone, this is Billy. Today I'm going to talk about Manchester dialect words. Besides the Liverpool dialect, the Manchester dialect is also one of the most popular dialects in northwest England, and it is also called Mancunian. Then let's take a look at some Mancunian dialect words. The first one is our kid. Do you remember the Scouse words our kid? In Manchester, people say our kid, not our kid, and of course it doesn't mean a child. Our kid means a sibling or a close friend. The next one is buzzing. You might think of a bee when you hear this word, but in Mancunian, buzzing means happy or excited. And the word buzz means something exciting, so you can say it like it's gonna be a buzz. Then let's take a look at an example sentence. Hey mate, I can't wait for Saturday night. You're right, our kid, I'm buzzing about Saturday night. Hey mate, I can't wait for Saturday night. You're right, our kid, I'm buzzing about Saturday night. The next word is brew. You know this word means beer, right? But don't bring beer when people in Manchester ask for a brew. That's because brew means a cup of tea in Mancunian. So when Mancunian people ask for a brew, just make a cup of tea. Let's take a look at an example sentence.
Asking a Korean person.
Hey mom, could you make a cup of tea? Yeah mum, make us a brew, yeah.
Yeah mum.
Hey mom, could you make a cup of tea? Yeah mum, make us a brew, yeah. The next one is gagging. Can you guess what it means?
Yeah, gagging for it.
You might think it's related to a joke, but in Mancunian, gagging means thirsty. For example, give me a pint, I'm thirsty. Get us a pint, lad, I'm gagging. Give me a pint, I'm thirsty. Get us a pint, lad, I'm gagging.
A pinter?
The next word is mint.
In lad.
Mint originally means one kind of herb, right? But in Manchester, mint means great. For example, yeah, that beer is nice. Yeah, that beer is mint. Yeah, that beer is nice. Yeah, that beer is mint. The next one is dead. Dead originally means not to like, right? But in Mancunian, dead means very or extremely.
Yeah, he's right.
So, when you want to emphasize something, you can use this word like dead good.
Yeah.
The last one is sound. When you hear this word sound, you might think of this, right? But in Manchester dialect, sound means good. So when you want to simply praise something, you can just say it's sound. For example, he's very nice. He's dead sounding, that bloke. He's very nice. He's dead sounding, that bloke. Now we know some Manchester dialect words. I know my Mancunian accent is not perfect, but I hope this one helps you to understand some Mancunian. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, Billy. He's a genius. Korean Billy. Absolute genius.
I don't know who's been teaching him, though.
Well, I think he's... that's dead sound, that video.
I've got a couple of queries.
Yes.
Our kid, I wouldn't call a friend our kid. Our kid is someone younger than you in your family.
No, my mate Dave calls me our kid.
Yeah, but is he doing it to joke you?
Oh, he goes, how you doing, our kid? Yeah, so you're wrong there.
No, I think he might be joshing.
Dave, he's not joshing. Dave and Korean Billy know Manchester better than you.
Because if you were saying, for example, if my mum refers to our kid, it means her youngest sister.
Yeah.
And she's got 3 other sisters, but it's the youngest one.
Right. Pablo, what do you reckon?
Hip, hip, hip. I'm with Cav on this one.
Well,
our kid's always your youngest sibling, isn't it?
I think it must be a northern thing.
Well, it is that's what we're talking about. It's a northern thing.
But he's saying it can be mate, and I wouldn't ever call someone who's not a family member.
Well, my mate...
No, I think he's having you on.
He's not. Dave is not having me on. He calls me our kid, and he means it as, how you doing, mate?
Is it not a misappropriation of cultural dialect?
Yeah, I think he might be.
I don't know what that means.
I think he might be being cute with you.
He's not being... Stop it. Pablo, what have you called him for? Get really angry with everyone tonight. Pablo.
Well, talk about angry. I attempted to segue in last night with it being a female-related issue, but my daughter's gone feral.
What? In what way?
Well, it started a while back. She'd developed this character of Wuffles, the dog.
Sorry? How old is your daughter? 27?
She's 3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
33. No, 3. Yeah, and she just wants to be Wuffles sometimes, and she'll go about being a dog, and she came up with the name. I'm quite happy with it. It shows creative flair.
Does Wuffles do naughty things, though?
Well, recently she's bit me a couple of times, and then which is kind of unacceptable, but acceptable if it's just me. as long as she's not biting anybody else. But then she bit me, me mother's fella the other day on the arm, quite a purpley reddish bite mark left.
Ouch-a-rooney.
So I've had to incorporate a reward box to guarantee she doesn't bite anybody now she's back at school.
But would you reward her with, like, human treats or dog biscuits?
She's got some bonios in. Other dog biscuits are available.
Unbelievable. Kids are nuts. You've just reminded me completely. We were watching some David Copperfield videos the other day. My youngest, for some reason, couldn't say David Copperfield, and he kept calling Danny Cockable. Can we watch another Danny Cockable? Danny Cockable? I was going, it's David Copperfield. Danny Cockable. What? How can you not understand the words David David! Danny Cockable.
It sounds like my mum.
Unbelievable.
She does that.
How are you going to break her out of this, Pablo? This is not natural behaviour. This has got to end.
Well, no, that's it. We're just kind of trying to slowly ease out Wuffles. So she does ask to be Wuffles, so we're just saying no rather than yes. So hopefully...
A bit mean-spirited, though,
Does
Pablo.
Wuffles always have to be violent, though? Couldn't Wuffles...
Well, no, Wuffles is normally a lovely little dog.
Have you got a dog?
No.
Right.
No.
Well,
She loves dogs.
She wants a dog, mate. That's what that is.
Well,
This whole Waffles thing is she wants an actual dog.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's not much... I would say on another...
Moved away from the dog topic very
She's not
quickly.
having a dog.
He's called in to talk about dogs, but as soon as we start saying he should get one for his daughter, otherwise he doesn't love her, he moves away from that.
I've got a rule. It's no small mammals until at least 5. That's been my rule.
Okay.
Well, you're kind of like my dad, who never let me have anything apart from a fish. It was boring.
A fish at the
We're going to start with a hamster. So
anyway, go on. What else you got?
Oh, yeah, I know you don't like being recommended things, but something that I've watched recently that I enjoyed, which is of a kind of a bent of a type of thing that you like, is Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency.
Yeah, I've seen that's popping up on my Netflix. Is that... I don't know if
Which good. I went into it like a bit wary, because obviously it's an American kind of reworking of... what's his name? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Douglas Adams, yeah.
Douglas Adams books. But a few years ago, Stephen Mangan did one for BBC4 where they did a few episodes, which I think they got a lot of the ideas for Sherlock from, like the way that they do it and shoot it. But that's aside from the point.
You've lost
but
him.
I quite like that.
Why is Mangan? Is Mangan in this new one?
No.
Stop talking about Mangan.
It's got Frodo in it. It's got the Hobbit Frodo fella.
Who's that?
I forget his name. He was in... Oh, what else was he? He was in that thing about Wolf about the dog. It was copied from an Australian thing.
What on earth is he talking about now? Pablo's having a breakdown. He's obsessed with dogs. He keeps bringing dogs into it.
Well, Frodo...
I've not seen it.
Oh, that's... Try hard.
Pablo, it sounds like you're melting, so I'm going to let you go and melt in private. 0344 499 1000. Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio is back.
Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Yes, George.
Good evening, Ian. Good evening, Kath.
Good evening, George.
Ed.
Good evening. Good evening, George. Good evening, Catherine. Good evening, Ed. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, callers.
Everyone.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Here we are, all here again.
Is it true that, you know the... Good morning, Mrs. Verda. Good morning, everyone. That was written by Brian Eno.
Well, I don't know, do I?
I think he did. Brian Eno wrote the tune, not the words, the words, but the words obviously. Good at school. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mrs. Smith. Good morning, everyone. Written by Brian Eno. Huh? I'm sure that's true. I read that somewhere.
How would he introduce it, though?
What do you mean? He wrote the, Brian Eno wrote that.
Yeah, but that's clearly a commission. Who's he going to send his music to?
The school board.
And the head teacher.
I don't know, the school board. But so if someone can write, what are the words for that? What words do you sing for that? Say my one.
Now you're at work.
Mine used to be time to go home, because that's when you switch it off.
All right.
Time
What was
to
on?
go
What was
home.
on? Ba 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 ba.
It's the same thing but higher.
Yeah,
you've
but
just
what
done.
was the on one then? What opposite of... That's a lightsaber.
Oh, yeah. What's the song when you turn your computer on, George? Because we use Macs now, so we don't get that.
Oh, I haven't used a computer for years, ever since I had a mobile phone. And being poor, living in London, don't need one. Once you've got a phone, you don't need a computer, really.
Hang on a minute. YouTube.com. Let's find out. Turning your Mac on. Here we go. Let's have a little listen.
It's not a Mac noise, though, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Turn your PC on. Thank you, Catherine. Music. PC on music. Come on, guys. Jesus, what is wrong with computers? Anyway, George, you've really thrown me into a tizzy. So what have you called in for?
I'm so sorry.
What have you called in for, mister? What have you got?
You were chatting about nervous moments with guns.
Yes. Oh, yes.
A week before Christmas. One of those, it was a very foggy night. To set the scene, South London, walking home with my wife.
Yes.
Over the corner of our shoulder, someone comes running out of the fog. Yeah, like, it's a kid with a gun. Genuinely pointing... Yeah, well...
I'm just trying to recreate this theatre of the mind, George. Theatre of the mind. There'll be some sad sacks going, oh, kid with a gun. Now I've added the music. They're going, oh, kid with a gun.
Misty night.
Yeah,
South
exactly.
London.
Exactly. So we've got to paint a picture for these idiots that listen to this rubbish.
Little scarf over his face.
Kid? You say kid? I imagine
scarf over his face.
He had a scarf over his face.
Yeah, like it could have been a handkerchief, could have been a scarf, all tied back. It was classic.
Wow. Stand and deliver.
Gangster style.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the film, which obviously this kid had done, he was doing all the right things.
Wow. What happened?
He had the wide leg stance.
Yeah.
Both hands on the gun.
Yeah.
Looking like a absolute classic gunman shooting.
Yeah, gunman shooting.
Because that's the thing they do wrong in films. You can't shoot a gun with one hand.
No.
You certainly can't do two at once. You'll
No,
be all off over
that
the place.
instantly made me think, this is either a real gun or a kid who's watched a lot of TV.
Yeah.
But it was also quite late, and there was someone pointing a gun at me. At which point, do you know, as you were saying, like, what you do, you get your keys out your bag and you threaten them with the keys and whatnot, that all goes out your head.
Yeah.
There is a gun pointing at you. So my wife says, F off.
Ooh, flip it. And I'd be going, all right, love, calm down, I'll deal with this.
No.
How much would you like, sir?
No. And he says already, give me your money.
Yeah.
At which point we're thinking, no one carries money anymore, do they?
No.
And if he runs off with our cards, what are we going to do? 10 minutes later, we're home, they're cancelled, he's just got a load of old plastic nonsense.
Right.
And so, sort of, we're thinking, he's either going to shoot us dead, in which point, problem solved, no worries.
Wow.
Dead.
Yeah.
Or we'll just carry on walking home. Easy peasy. We carry on walking. He gets a bit cross about this.
Hang on a minute. So he's pointing a gun at you and you just walk past him?
More or less, yeah. Which is exactly what he had no idea what to do about.
No.
Because he was smaller than us.
Yeah.
There was two of us. He had two pals back on the corner who were sort of chuckling. Again,
they were laughing at him because his robbery was going wrong.
Yeah, and... this is we called the police soon after, and I had to...
Did he second it? See, let's go. So you walked off. Did he say anything? Did he? Oi!
Yeah.
Oi!
And so
Oi! Come on!
Sort of ran back. He went back across the road, and then his friend sort of said, "Oh, good, try again." And he sort of ran back, and he was all sort of skipping, jumping about. He was more nervous and frightened than we were.
Yeah.
So he's all flighty all my days, and at which point we just said, "No, seriously, F off."
Yeah.
Carried on walking. My wife said, right, we're phoning the police.
Yeah.
We got another, 10, 20 yards down the road.
Yeah.
On the phone, there's a guy with a gun here. And then it was so exciting. They said, right, we've got you on our system. We've got cars on the way. 5 minutes later, they've driven past you, unmarked cars. We've got, armed response units all in the area. Obviously, never found the guy.
Oh.
Never, yeah, and gave the old statement and whatnot. But I'm fairly sure they thought we were, just some kids mucking around. But
is it a route that you often use?
Yeah.
Dead man walking.
It's crazy. I was, I feel, a certain sympathy with the police because obviously we've just described, someone who's 5'4",
yeah,
with a gun, with the mask over their face. So we saw, black hair, eyes. That was it.
Yeah.
How do you find that?
Well, they've got a lot of CCTV in London these days. You'd be surprised.
It was right outside a school with CCTV, but just obviously not pointing the right way.
Yeah.
And someone phoned up the next day and said, "Oh, you sounded like you were all right." And I was like, "Well, I had to be all right because my wife was,
Yeah. Because you don't want to,
Yeah. And they said, "Oh, just try walking home in a slightly more lit up area." Like
it was your fault.
It's a complete residential area.
Great work, cops.
Yeah, whatever way we went, it couldn't be more residential. These are houses which are, 1.5 million pounds to buy at least.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I hopped in a car after it happened with these police officers. It was fantastic. They pulled up, flashed the old badge.
Yeah.
That was exciting. That was just like a film. And we zipped around, but there was people coming home. It was, party night, week before Christmas, Wednesday or Thursday night. And there were single women walking by with their, takeaways in their bags and, holding their shoes and whatnot. And I was thinking, if it had been anyone else, it had been my mum and dad walking home.
Yeah.
God knows what would have happened. And, it was just, I suppose maybe they picked on us because we were, two people together who looked young and, there was a man and a woman and it could have been easy pickings and whatnot. But, no, it was...
oh, man, that sounds horrible.
Easy.
At what point did you start shaking? Because when I've been in situations like that, I'm all like bark and like your wife telling people where to go.
Yeah.
And it's about half an hour later, the shaking starts.
Yeah, I'm very glad she's asleep. The radio's on in the bedroom. I hope she hasn't woken up, or I could be in trouble because of even talking about it. No, for that whole evening we couldn't talk to each other normally. And she was worried, and she was saying, God, I told him to off, and if he had a gun, he could have killed us.
Yeah. Funny old fight or flight, they call it, don't they?
Yeah,
it's the reptilian...
In my mind, I'm thinking it was just a kid mucking about. But that could have been, a gun he found that was his brother's, I'm the fellow who works in the military antiques, and so I spend a lot of my time looking at these sorts of things. And it wasn't, as far as I can work out, that wasn't the toy gun he was playing with, so...
Mate, listen, I'm glad you're alive, obviously, and I don't envy you one little bit. Thank you for sharing that with us, George. What a horrific story. 0344 499 1000. Last 18 minutes of the show. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Okay, Simon Reynolds, the author of that book, has just emailed it. Can't do tomorrow, maybe Monday of next week.
Wonderful.
That will be excellent. And if you have suggestions for guests, dear listener, Kath and I need to get our heads together. About every sort of 2 or 3 months, about every 2 months, we sit down and make a ridiculous list of people that we'd like, and then we kind of split it and email them and approach them. And our hit rate is pretty good, even though we asked some ridiculous people.
Yeah, Carly Simon never got back.
Carly Simon, no. David Copperfield, Danny. What was he called? I can't remember what he was called. Danny Cockybonk or something. Can't remember.
Cock and Ball, wasn't it?
Cockaball. That was it. We're going to approach Danny Cockaball. But I don't think so. Hey, very exciting. We both got into work really early today. So we went for a little wander up to the BFI, the British Film Institute, and had a very nice coffee there. And it was a production meeting, so we can claim that back. And we bought tickets to go and see The King of Comedy, the Robert De Niro, Jerry Lewis film, one of my favourite films of all time. I've not seen it for years. I was going to watch it recently, actually, because I've been clearing out some DVDs and I've kept that one. And I thought, I might watch that, but I'm glad I haven't. So I've not seen it for years, and I've never seen it in the cinema. So watching that on a big screen, it's just, I don't understand. It's Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro playing a stalkerish fan who thinks he's a brilliant stand-up comedian who kidnaps an ageing Jerry Lewis.
He thinks all he needs is a shot, isn't he?
Yeah. And it's brilliant. It's about the fame and celebrity and talent.
I was going to say, you replace that with a talent show, Judge. You've got 2017.
Oh yeah, completely. I think. I mean, I'm guessing it's about 1983, 83, 84. It's got that kind of vibe about it. But the story is would completely work now. You know, that frustrated performer kidnaps somebody so they get their big chance. And Sandra Bernhardt in it as the psychopathic, sex-crazed
Now, there's a
Uber
woman
fan.
who can do Loco.
Wow. I'm just going to rip my clothes off, Jerry. Would you want me to rip my clothes off, Jerry? It's brilliant. I'm so excited. So we're going to go and see that in a couple of weeks. Absolutely thrilled at that. It's quite pricey, though.
Yeah, but the cinema is these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. But this is an old film, so you'd think you get it for like... my greatest discovery was when I used to live in Muswell Hill in North London. There was a cinema, a really old Odeon there, and they used to do pensioners' afternoons. So Thursday at like midday or 2 o'clock or something, they'd show a really old film, and it would cost like £1.50.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. We watched this really weird science fiction film from the 30s. It was the weirdest thing. But what was more exciting was they showed loads of old newsreel about that cinema. And boy, oh boy, in the 40s, it was the place to be. In the 40s, they had, I can't remember, it was like big movie stars were there for the premiere, and they had all the news footage of the premiere of this film there. And they came out and stood on the balcony, and there were thousands of people there. I'm thinking, I live here. I can't imagine it being like that.
There was a brilliant old cinema near where I used to live in Nottingham when I was at university, on the Derby Road, and I would love to know if it's still there, in the Lenton end of Derby Road. And it was called the Savoy. Yeah. And again, it was like a wartime cinema. And the prices were cheaper. You could go and see a proper new film, because it was a character place. I'd much rather go and see a film there than go to a multiplex.
Yes.
But it cost about in the mid-90s, about £6 to go and see a new film.
Yeah.
And they had double seat love seats. There was a bar. And it was like kind of plush, old, decadent, faded glory type place. Oh, it was wonderful. I used to love it there.
Where was that cinema that we went and saw that Spanish film?
Oh, that's the Curzon
in Victoria. That was nice. That was luxurious. Enjoyed that. You take in a coffee.
But that's slick. That's these days slick.
Yeah. Oh, that's modern slick. Yeah. You don't get the kind of flea pits very often. But I'm not a fan. We've got 2 cinemas near us. One's a little bit further away. It's a picture house, which is this brilliant chain where they're all they show like obvious films, but they also show kind of slightly obscure stuff as well. The screens are quite nice and small. It's modern, but they're quite nice and quite small, and they do good food there. And we kind of go there, and it's a day out. And I much prefer that. Although sometimes we have to go to the Odeon in Slough, which is I think it's an Odeon, or is it a View? Might be a View, actually. And it's great because
the job.
Yeah, it does the job, and they show loads of films, and it's a bit cheaper. But when you're in screen 9 and it's this tiny little screen with the sound is crappy, and it's just a bit. It loses the magic.
There are some brilliant places. There's a place in Berkhamsted that's a revived old Art Deco cinema. Yes. And it's been done with love, to the point where Charles Dance will come and introduce films, gladly. Ladies in Lavender, I think he came and did when that was out. Yeah. And they get people who've got a real love affair with what he's trying to do. There's 2 of them. I think he's got another one as well now. Can't remember where the other one is. But the guy that runs it is this... he's like this sort of headmasterly, a cross between a headmaster and Basil Fawlty. Yeah. And he rules the place, absolutely rules it, because it's his.
Where is
his baby? This is in Berkhamsted. The
Didn't
Rex.
we have him on the radio once?
Yes, because I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And they do special screenings, so they'll do the kids' ones, but he'll be up and down the aisles patrolling it and telling any kids that are throwing popcorn, to sort it out, and he'll get them down and clean it up. He also does, like, you know, ones for breastfeeding mums to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Knitters. There was a knitting club that wanted a special screening.
Didn't he get in trouble?
Yeah, because what had he done?
Oh, it was a mothers and babies. It was a breastfeeding one, but they were showing like a 15 film or something.
And someone reported him.
Someone reported them that there were kids there, but he was like, well, they're babies.
They're not watching the film.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a porno or anything, you know. It was, and he got in trouble for that.
And he's
didn't he?
brilliant. He's trying to do something independent.
Yeah, we had him on the show.
That place was. I fell in love with that place.
I'd love to. Can I have an out time, please? I'd love to own a cinema.
Yeah, for a long time I was obsessed with an off licence in Ampthill near where I live.
Yeah.
Because it was built in the old cinema building.
Yeah.
That film I've lent you, Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, if you love cinema, that is the one. And it was, again, the shape of it, you know, with the steps that come down in a kind of rounded thing, walking into... You could tell that the off licence was, you know, pretty much the same building, and you could see the projectionist window.
The Offie was used to be a cinema.
They'd made it they'd made it into Parade of Shops, and the Offie was the entrance hall of the old cinema. And for ages I was obsessed with, if I ever win the lottery and I don't need to make any money and I can do something just to keep myself busy, I'll turn that back into a cinema and we'll do like outdoor films and it'll be brilliant. But they ploughed it down.
Oh,
that's where Waitrose is
Michelle
now.
says, I'm seeing The King of Comedy on the 29th. Is that when you're going? No, we're going for that was the one we were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we're going on the 23rd or something.
Or are we?
Oh, yeah. What, in case it's a murderer?
Well, yeah, you just told me off for broadcasting my route home. And you
Well, it is the 23rd. Isn't that going to murder us in a... Not going to murder us in a cinema.
Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, well, that was a theatre, mate, not a cinema.
Well, they didn't have cinema then.
Well, that's true. Abraham Lincoln was a giant. Was technically, medically, a giant. Yeah. He had this disease where his organs kept on growing. Don't.
Is this true?
Yeah, this is... I was listening to the thing on the radio for the other day. They think he did. They think he did, obviously. Yeah. But his organs kept on growing, and had he not been shot, he wouldn't have lived much longer because his heart would have grown and grown and grown and burst out of his chest.
Wow.
That is true.
A humanitarian with a heart that was too big.
John Wilkes Booth is the guy that shot Lincoln. How do I know that? Why would I know that?
It's just in there.
John Wilkes Booth. Yeah, he was a giant, and his organs are growing. There's a disease that you've got. That's why he looked so
long and lean.
Yeah,
and ill. He always looked ill, didn't he? Pictures I've seen.
Hang on a minute. Do photographs exist of him?
Yeah.
Were photographs around of Abraham Lincoln, or are they just photographs?
Sepia.
Were they photographs of people who look like Abraham Lincoln? I can do an impression of Abraham Lincoln.
Can you though?
Well, I'm Abe Lincoln, and I'm going to free all the slaves. You are emancipated, my friend.
Fair play, that is spot on.
That's not bad, is it?
Bob on that.
It's not bad. But do photos actually exist of Abraham Lincoln, or are
sepia. Those ones where they had to stand still.
Yeah, mate, I can do sepia on my phone. So it doesn't necessarily mean that what you've seen in these post-truth days doesn't necessarily mean that what you've seen is actually the big man himself. Gosh. Big man being the operative
You
phrase.
really are tonight twisting my melon.
Well, I've seen you, Spud. Well, I just mean a potato. I've got no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just going to stop talking.
Okay, well, that would be... At last, the...
because whatever I say gets turned
the
into...
lesson...
Filth.
You're still talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm musing out loud.
Yeah, that's talking. And you've literally just said, typical of your lies, you've just said, I'm going to stop talking, but now I'm going to keep on talking, our kid. And I don't mean sibling, I mean friend.
No, I wouldn't ever say that.
There you go again. More words. Well, more unnecessary...
Don't spout untruths.
I'm not spouting untruths, mate. I'm like audio description for the blind. I'm audio descripting for the blind your behaviour. And you know what? You don't come out smelling of roses. You've got egg on your face. Oh, look, now you're not talking. Brilliant.
Anything else?
I knew you'd start talking then.
I was just waiting for the next one. Next onslaught. Of questionable similes.
Of what?
Questionable similes.
There we go. Well done. We got there in the end. Well, guys, there's a photograph of Abraham Lincoln.
So, I was right. You were wrong.
Well, no,
doesn't look well, does he?
Doesn't he look big? His tie's all skew.
He's got one of those beards that's not got a moustache to go with.
But and James, thank you for sending that. But how do we know that's not just an Abraham? A
link-alike.
A link-alike. A link-alike. How do we know that that's not? We don't know that, James. We just have your evidence, which is a tweet of a sepia photo of a man who may or may not have giantitis.
James, if that indeed is your name.
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe a single bloody thing. Well, if you've just tuned in, where you been? Oh, you've not tuned in for us. You tuned in for the next show. Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I can understand that. We got away with it again, guys. Another 3 hours of, let's be honest, paper-thin content. And I'm using the word content just as a sentence filler, because there's been no content in this show. We spent 30 minutes arguing about how to cook potatoes. That has been...
It's inform, educate, entertain.
Yeah, we go, you see. Lord Reith would be very, very excited. We'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. More's the pity. We'll be talking about the best way to cook sausages. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Dial up some dialogue.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.